Good evening from the campus of the Ensworth School, West Nashville, where tonight Father Ryan football is on the air. Everybody, Lou Pickney with you, and from behind the crest, Tyler Fernandez. Tyler, for Father Ryan, 5-game losing streak coming into this matchup tonight, but very important for Father Ryan, a region game against Ensworth. They only get 5 regions games per season now. They all matter a whole lot. And if Father Ryan wants to think anything about the postseason, they've got to beat the Tigers here at Ensworth tonight.
Yeah, most importantly, and like I said earlier, and I don't think I've said this before, but Ensworth's also a little bit on the losing skid too. So it's going to be a big battle tonight by both sides because both teams want to end their losing skid. So I think it's very important for the Father Ryan Irish on both sides of the ball to make a stand against this talented Ensworth team.
This is an Ensworth team that last week their primary running back, Charles Ingram, had an injury, had to leave early, but saw him warming out there with the Tigers. He is expected to play tonight. But good news for Father Ryan. The talk in the press box last Friday night was that it was a fear of a torn knee ligament for Father Ryan's starting quarterback, DC Tabscott. It turns out, and that's why I don't bring these things up on the air until I know for sure, until they actually do an MRI, just a bone bruise, remarkably. And so DC Tabscott will be starting for the Irish tonight. They're going to need him. This Ensworth defense has a lot of talent. Well, perhaps their best defensive player from last year, Tyler Barron, now over in Knoxville playing for Knox Catholic, something for Father Ryan to worry about later this season. Still a very stout defense, a really good safety. And it's going to be a tough battle here for the Father Ryan Irish tonight against a team that they've struggled with traditionally here in the Tigers. So both teams are, or at least I see Ensworth over to our right getting ready to take the field. One score can pass along early out in Chattanooga, and this one's a big one. McCallie 7, Baylor 0. Those are two of the other 6 Division II AAA East region teams. Both are unbeaten. Baylor beat Father Ryan earlier this year. Father Ryan's got a trip down to Chattanooga to take on McCallie, and that's a couple of weeks from now. And so we see the captains, both teams getting ready. I see Anthony Wright and his twin brother Antonio Wright, number 15 and 10 respectively for the Irish, also number 12 out there for Father Ryan. Grayson Hubbock, see that 4th number there, and indeed is Zach Smith. So Father Ryan with some of its seniors out there. I'd love to get a victory over this Ensworth team. Father Ryan is right now 0-2 in Division II AAA play. Father Ryan's got Ensworth, and then in 2 weeks they've got at McCallie, and then in another 2 weeks after they play Lipscomb. Lipscomb will be a non-region game. The last game of the regular season, early November at Knox Catholic. Knox Catholic, a huge win on national television last night over Brentwood Academy.
Yeah, that win was pretty big, man. And granted, Brentwood Academy is a pretty talented team. So, I mean, Knox Catholic had the confidence to go into that place, and which is really tough, and beat probably one of the most top talented teams out there.
And you think about it, for Knoxville Catholic, been Division I for so long. Now they're in Division II AAA. They've heard a lot, the smack talk. Welcome to D2 AAA. Have fun. But in that case, they got a big win on national TV. We had the coin flip, and the home team, Ensworth, won the flip, and they will defer. So Father Ryan will receive the ball to start the game. Not terribly surprising, but you never know for sure when it comes to the coin flip. So Ensworth wins, defers, and the Irish will receive the ball. The way this is a beautiful campus here in West Nashville, Ensworth, it's gorgeous here. And you've got major size building-wise on both sides. With a scoreboard on either side, you can see it pretty well. Across from us, opposite us, is the Father Ryan contingent that has made the trip here to West Nashville to take in this II-AAA Division II AAA East Region matchup. And so now Father Ryan to our right and Ensworth to our left, both are respectively preparing to take the field. Father Ryan tonight, white helmets, white jerseys with purple numerals and purple pants, and it's all black for Ensworth, or dark gray, call it what you will, with orange numerals and stripes. And here come the Irish.
Yeah, if you're an Irish fan right now, this is probably a big win. You need a big win here, big time, because if you want to stay in line with the playoffs, like you said, this is probably one of the key situations of being part of the playoffs. So I think the most important thing for Father Ryan is to come in Ensworth's building and get a win here tonight.
It's getting kind of loud out there as Ensworth takes the field. We're on the Ensworth side. They've got plenty of their supporters out here tonight, friends, family, and alumni, just like for Father Ryan on the opposite side. It's getting loud here. They're welcome to the jungle being played. That's normally for like Father Ryan's student section at home, but utilized here for this entrance as well by Ensworth. So we'll have kickoff momentarily. Again, Ensworth won the opening coin flip, deferred, so they'll receive the ball to start the second half. That means Father Ryan gets first crack at it on offense. And so the question now for DC Tabscott, the junior quarterback, had the injury last week. You thought maybe out for the year. Instead, he's playing here tonight for Father Ryan in a game where they desperately need him. I think that was an unselfish play, too, because it was just a matter of Tabscott trying to get an extra 5 yards. He'd already had more, it was like 42, 43-yard run on 3rd and long. But trying to get those extra few yards, he gets hit. It was a clean hit, too. I mean, it's no knock on Germantown. Guy was just right there. Okay, you're going to not step out of bounds, I'll hit you. That's the way it goes. That's football. But very fortunate for Father Ryan that they'll have Tabscott back in there. We'll see who the return men end up being for Father Ryan. They've mixed it up a bit. A couple of freshmen in there last couple of weeks. Aiden Nelson being the primary returner of the two. And we'll get score updates. We'll pass them along. Got Montgomery Bell Academy playing against Pope John Paul II High School. Neither one's actually in Father Ryan's region. Father Ryan's in the east, and that kind of arbitrary split they did with JP2 and Montgomery Bell Academy being on the west side of the split. And so it's Erdman. He was off of kickoff returns the last couple of weeks. Cameron Bay Slay, the other. Now that's the other freshman I was talking about. So instead of Nelson being in there, it's going to be Parker Erdman on the far side. So Erdman Bay Slay prepared to return this kickoff once we get it. I cut off Axel Rose mid-lyric. Get ready for this kickoff. The Vuvuzelas are out in effect. And as an intermediate kick to the near side, fielded at the 22 to the 25, spun around, tackled around the 28-yard line. That's where Father Ryan's going to start its first offensive possession of the game. It was Ponder, Stephen Ponder on the return. Father Ryan starts off 1st and 10 inside his own 30.
By Jude Malloy. It will be first down Father Ryan at their own 28-yard line.
There's number 15 for Ensworth, Jude Malloy. He's an important part of this defense. Ensworth runs a 3-4 defensive set. That's 3 down linemen, 4 linebackers, and 4 defensive backs. And they don't sub out just a whole lot with some of the defensive linemen. Got Hunt in there as one of 4 guys right up on that line. 1st and 10 for the Irish, dual running backs. And it's going to be a handoff on this 1st and 10, run to the near side. Jaden Robinson escorted out of bounds after maybe a 3 or 4 yard gain.
And Jaden Robinson, known for bouncing it to the outside, along with Antonio Wright as well. So if you're Father Ryan, you're against this Ensworth defense. You want the run game to establish the being to the outside, which is going to be really hard to tackle, because some running backs that we've had broadcasted in the past are really dangerous when it comes to going to the outside.
Tulio Malone on the stop in that last play for the Tigers. They had the Irish Anthony Wright in on that play. He hits the sidelines. The Irish go 4 receivers, bunched up trips to the far side, 1 to the near side, with 23 seconds on the play clock. We have a whistle. There seems to be some question with one of the coaches for Ensworth down there. With Ensworth an opportunity to have Jake McAllister, one of their defensive backs, talk with the coaching staff, make sure everybody's on the same page. The clock shows 11 minutes, 18 seconds to go first quarter, just underway, as you can tell. So after that, a substitution is made as Cal Archdeacon to the game. As Axton Hunt comes to the sideline for the Tigers. Irish going to be looking at a second. They'll say it was about a 4.5 yard gain, so 2nd and 6 for the Irish here. Working for this near hash. Whenever they get it figured out, there's still a delay. I can only imagine they do with the clock, as now the time is up to 11 minutes, 50 seconds on the clock. So I can only imagine something related to that. So on 2nd and 6, and 4 receivers, 3 bunch to that far side to set up a run. That's Jaden Robinson past the 40, has the first down for the Irish, brought down on the 42, 43 yard line on the stop Tolio Malone.
And that was a nice key blocking there by the Father Ryan offensive line to allow Jaden Robinson to get that hole and give Father Ryan a nice fresh set of downs here on this drive, which is what you really need against the Ensworth defense.
Parker Erdman goes to the sideline, replaced by number 15, Anthony Wright. So one receiver off, one running back on for the Irish. They're going to go with that dual running back look like they had in the first play with both Anthony Wright and Jaden Robinson, 2 receivers, 5 Ensworth Tigers up on that line on this 1st and 10. It's going to be a run. That's Anthony Wright to this near side, and it'll have to be a 2-yard gain.
And Anthony Wright, he's also known for playing linebacker, but when he runs, he is pretty tough on the runs, along with his brother Antonio. So it's going to be interesting.
They'll switch in Anthony from time to time, just kind of as a change of pace. Again, he'll stay in there. 2 running backs, 2 receivers. The quarterback, D.C. Tabscott, on this second and 7 ball at the Irish 46. Player for Ensworth moves into the neutral zone. And so if it's offsides on Ensworth, that's a 5-yard penalty, and that appears what it will be.
And Father Ryan and D.C. Tabscott doing that old hut, or that clap, and that caused Ensworth to jump offsides and jump into the neutral zone. So it's going to be 2nd and short for them right now.
The ball's now in Ensworth territory at the Tigers' 49-yard line, 2nd and 2. 10:28 and counting first quarter, no score. Father Ryan High School and Ensworth School. Tabscott giving that double running back look, another handoff. This is Jaden Robinson, spins out of 1 tackle, brought down by a 2nd. I don't think he got the first down. If he did, it's close. Or check that. Looks like they're going to move the chains. Robinson got just enough. And again, Tulio Malone, number 32 in there. Between Malone, number 32, and Cal Archdeacon, number 52. Tough defenders in that front 7 for Ensworth, but Father Ryan just enough to move the chains again. 1st and 10, Father Ryan approaching the 10-minute mark of the first quarter.
And Jaden Robinson continues to churn those legs, and as a result of him doing that, he got enough for the first down.
2 receivers. Pfeiffer to the near side, Christian Smith to the far. It's going to be a run. That's Anthony Wright. It's a nice defensive play to stop at about a 2-yard gain. Have the forward progress. Andre Turrentine, dangerous player, a nice stop. But again, the forward progress is what matters. The nose of the ball is right at the 45-yard line at Ensworth after a 2-yard gain. And so it'll be Jaden Robinson going to the sideline. So 2nd and 8, ball at the 45. 9:25 and counting first quarter. And there's no score between Father Ryan and Ensworth. It's 2 receivers both to this near side. Double running back look again. And this 2nd and 8. Tabscott's going to throw near side complete. Christian Smith brings it in. And that should be enough to move the chains again. First down for Father Ryan.
That was a nice play by D.C. Tabscott. And that was a nice call by Coach Tavo with that dual wide receiver threat on the left side. And he was able to find a nice wide open Christian Smith for the first down.
There's a defensive back, Gabriel McDaniel, number 11, on the stop for the Tigers. First down, Father Ryan after the completion. Less than 9 minutes to go first quarter. No score, Irish and Tigers. Tabscott hard count. Nearly got somebody moving to the neutral zone again. Not quite. Plenty of time on the play clock, though. 13 seconds. Another handoff. Nice tackle for loss there. Ends with, and no surprise there, Keyshawn Lawrence. Top 5 in the country at safety. Just a phenomenal talent. And managed to get a tackle for loss right that went all the way. And there was nothing Father Ryan could do there. Anthony Wright trying to get some open room, but when the safety starts cheating up like that, changes things a bit. So a 3-yard loss ball at the 39-yard line of Ensworth.
And Ensworth did a nice job, and Keyshawn just literally came in out of nowhere and just was able to do the little bit of shoot tackle backwards for a loss. So let's see if Father Ryan can get those yardage back here on 2nd down.
So on 2nd and 13, as trips receivers that far side, and that includes Parker Erdman rolling far side, throw incomplete, intended for Beacom. Would have been a tough catch. Like Malloy was over there in coverage. There wasn't a very big window there, and better to throw it where no one can get it than to potentially put yourself in a position to have a turnover. So now 3rd and 13 for Father Ryan. Ball is at the Ensworth 39-yard line. You might think this is 4-down territory for the Irish. At least they can pick up some yardage here.
Yeah, so pick up some yardage and hopefully be enough for being field goal range for Wisnowski. So this is a big 3rd down for Father Ryan.
Erdman goes in motion to the far side to give trips to the far side for Father Ryan. A design keeper, and that gets blown up. Cal Archdeacon, one of several Tigers in there. Austin Henderson as well.
And the Ensworth defense knew that play was coming, so it looks like Father Ryan's going to stay out on the field or maybe a little kick or something. You never know.
You would imagine this would be the pooch punt right here. And Ensworth Ensworth played Father Ryan enough to know what they can kind of expect here. You got Turntine kind of playing back along with Keyshawn Lawrence, but if we give a whistle instead, timeout Ensworth. So an interesting decision here by the Tigers early in this game. No score, 7:21 to go first quarter, Father Ryan and Ensworth. And so now both teams can talk things over. But, I mean, it seems strange to me because time after time, these other opposing teams to Father Ryan seem to not expect the pooch punt, and they have nobody back. And Ensworth, though, has played Father Ryan. They played in the playoffs last year, so now it's the third game between the two teams in the last 2 years. Point being, even though it's a new head coach here at Ensworth, it's certainly something that opponents of Father Ryan have seen on film, if nothing else. Next week's a bye for Father Ryan, so they can rest up a bit before the big challenge coming up in 2 weeks. Down I-24 to play at McCallie against the undefeated Blue Tornado, which at last order was up 7-0 on unbeaten Baylor in a big Division II AAA East region game. So finally coming out of the timeout. It's unusual to be 4th and 16 and early in a game like this and for a timeout to be taken, but clearly there was something that Ensworth wanted to adjust or prepare for here, possibly from Father Ryan. Maybe somebody back to return. Although it will be Tabscott in the offense coming out, so you can't count out Father Ryan as far as that goes. It'll be one receiver to this near side. That's Josh Pfeiffer with Beekman, a potential receiver for blocking purposes, though. And 2 receivers far for Father Ryan. Again, I think we're going to see the pooch without a defender behind the 25-yard line. Indeed, as Ensworth sees that, moves back. It's going to be a pooch punt, spinning end over end, fielded at the 16. This could be trouble to the 20. Tries to find a seam to the 30, cuts through. This could be real trouble past midfield. Tabscott can't make the stop. Keyshawn Lawrence is going to go all the way for a touchdown, Ensworth.
Keyshawn Lawrence on the return for a touchdown, Tigers!
So the wrong punt return, the pooch punt that normally works for Father Ryan. I guess that timeout paid off for Ensworth. It just, you hold your breath. I've called enough Keyshawn Lawrence games in my time. He's now a senior. I've known him since he was much younger here at Ensworth. A very good player. Plays mostly on defense, but when he gets a chance to go with the ball like that, just electric. And so Father Ryan, that nice, long, sustained opening drive, punt, and then one play, and it's about to be 7-0 for the Tigers. Extra point, of course, pending.
And Keyshawn Lawrence, man. And he's got speed and was able to turn up the sides. As he almost blocked the kick there.
Nearly had it. And that's been a problem for Ensworth. They had an extra point that doinked in off the post. They had one that outright missed. Some of the video I was watching earlier, so I know it's been a challenge, but they got that one. So reset here. 6 minutes, 59 seconds to go, first quarter. So just early mid first quarter. And it's 7-0 Ensworth. And Ensworth has had 0 offensive snaps from under center. With Father Ryan, the long drive, stalled out. The pooch punt returned for a touchdown. Not the start Father Ryan wanted to be sure, but now the offense gets to go back out there and say, okay, now what we can do.
Yeah, this is going to be like a little bit of a redemption drive right here because that was probably not what Father Ryan wanted to expect right out of the gate. So I think the most important thing for Father Ryan is to drive the ball down the field and get into the red zone and score some touchdowns, right? And it starts all here like on this next possession.
The trouble with trying to score quickly on Ensworth is that they have a very good, from a fundamental standpoint, you don't normally catch them out of position. If they are, you got somebody like Keyshawn Lawrence that has the talent to be able to take off with it, make a busted play, turn into a long gain, or you just saw there the pooch punt fielded off the hop and taken back to the house. So 7-0 Ensworth. The Tigers set to kick off to Father Ryan. Father Ryan again. It's going to be Parker Erdman on that far side. Bay Slay on this near one. High spinning intermediate length kick fielded at the 22 to the 25, past the 30. Forward progress stopped around the 32-yard line, so that's where Father Ryan will begin his first drive. Stephen Ponder, that's his second kick return of the game. Being an up man.
Yeah, and Ensworth trying to go for those high kicks and see if they could try to get a little bit of a muff or a lucky bounce on there and try to see if they can recover the football, but Bonder with those nice hands was able to continue that forward progress and continue to gain possession for this Irish offense. So let's see if we got redemption drive right here.
6 minutes, 52 seconds to go first quarter. It's Ensworth 7, Father Ryan 0, but the Irish with the ball. And junior quarterback D.C. Tavscott. For those of you just joining us that thought we might not have Tavscott the rest of the season, it was not a ligament tear, but instead a bone bruise, thankfully. So the hard count did not get Ensworth the jumps on this 1st and 10. Lowering the shoulder, Jaden Robinson. Got about 4 or 5 yards. Nice run by Robinson.
Yeah, Jaden Robinson's not afraid to lower that shoulder, man. And granted, he's only a sophomore, but he's shown that he is a very tough running back for this Irish offense.
There's Lawrence and Malone in there on the stop for the Tigers. 6-yard gain for Father Ryan off of that. Jaden Robinson runs 2nd and 4. 6:25 and counting first quarter. Ensworth leads 7-0. And with 20 seconds in the play clock, see that outside linebacker blitz teased by Malloy on that far side. He's going to bring the heat. It's going to be a handoff. That's Anthony Wright. Second effort. I think he's got the first down. Initially would have been close. He's past the 45-yard line.
And Anthony Wright and these running backs, they know how to run hard and they know how to keep their legs churning. Because if you're not going to be a tough running back, then you just don't play. But if you're a strong running back and you keep those legs churning, you're going to get more yards and you're going to cause some defenses to miss some tackles.
It was Turrentine and Malone on the stop of the last play. 1st and 10, Father Ryan, 5:41 and counting first quarter. This will be a handoff. Anthony Wright cuts to the near side, gets a seam, has a first down. Spun around just shy of the 40-yard line of Ensworth. A good run there by Father Ryan. And that'll move the chains again.
And Irish not afraid to continue to run this ball against this Ensworth defense. So they're just continuing to pound the ball time and time again. And right now they're continuing to pick this Ensworth defense apart right now.
Irish sticking with that double running back look out of the shotgun. There's 2 receivers to the far side, Pfeiffer and Christian Smith. You got Beacom on this near side. Matthew Beacom is a blocker. Father Ryan here on 1st and 10. It's going to be a handoff. That's Jaden Robinson. Bounces off of one defender. He'll be tackled for maybe a 2 or possibly a 3-yard gain. There's Malloy. Number 15, Jude Malloy. And here comes Antonio Wright into the game. Anthony goes to the sideline. Antonio comes in.
Yeah, this is interesting. The Wright brothers, and I like what Coach Tubbo has done and what Coach Rector's done, like substituting the guys in and get some snaps in for them. Because granted, these two, Anthony and Antonio, are seniors as well.
So it's a 2nd and 8. Irish need to get the ball close to the 30-yard line of Ensworth to get a first down. This will be a handoff. This is Antonio Wright. Keeps churning his legs. Got an extra yard or 2 out of it. Something we said for hard effort and work there. Instead of a 2-yard gain, got 3. That's going to set up 3rd and a long 4, it appears, for the Irish.
And we continue to see these running backs for Father Ryan continue to turn those legs because they get more yards as a result of them turning those legs. So if you're Coach Tamu and Coach Rector, you're liking what you're seeing from these Irish running backs.
Anthony Wright comes to the sideline. It's receivers aplenty in for the Irish. Christian Smith to the far side. You got Beacom, you got Pfeiffer, and you got Erdman bunched up on this near side. We get a whistle. There were 13 seconds on the play clock. Timeout, Father Ryan. So at the 3:51 mark of the first quarter, with Ensworth leading Father Ryan 7-0, the Irish take their first timeout of this first half. Ensworth used one earlier right before the punt return for a touchdown. So to recap quickly for those of you just joining us, Ensworth won the opening coin toss deferred. Father Ryan got the ball to start the game, had a drive like 2 or 3 first downs, finally stalled out. It was a pooch punt. But the pooch punt for Father Ryan, unfortunately, went to one of those dangerous players in all of Middle Tennessee as far as explosiveness goes, in the form of Keyshawn Lawrence. Lawrence took it off the hop, found a seam, made a cut, has that just incredible speed down the sideline. Extra point made it 7-0 Ensworth. And so Ensworth's offense is not a single snap thus far. It's been Father Ryan out there with its offense, and aside from that punt return, very little for Ensworth at this point. So Father Ryan be looking at 3rd and 5 on the scoreboard, where the marker is right at the 35-yard line. If Father Ryan can get Ensworth to move into the neutral zone or jump, as they have already once before in this game, that would give the Irish, from at least my estimation, a free first down. I'm sure Ensworth's aware of this and will do their best not to jump, though. So the Tigers switch around some of their defensive linemen with 4 down linemen, a different kind of look on this 3rd and a long 4. Yeah, handoff. Jaden Robinson's got the first down past the 30. He'll be driven backward. Better just fall down. He will. Forward progress. They'll move the chains. Nice job by Father Ryan's running game. Once again, getting the first down.
Yeah. And right now, Jaden Robinson has continued to do well for this Irish offense, and I like what Coach Tavo's been calling. I like what Coach Rector's been calling the run game because I interviewed him and he said that the only way to do well in that particular game against VGA was establish the run. And right now, Father Ryan has established the run here tonight against Ensworth.
Trips receivers to the far side. Beacom, the tight end blocking purposes, you would think, to the near side. The running back to the left, quarterback DC Tab Scott, is Jaden Robinson. 3:14 and counting first quarter. Irish are down 7-0. It's going to be a handoff. Jaden Robinson tries to cut toward that far side. Does. Spins around a couple of players. Gets a nice 4 or 5 yard gain. Good job cutting through there. A couple of Ensworth players were ready to make the tackle and weren't able to quite do so until they reached the 25.
And like I said, the Father Ryan run game has been the key piece to success. So if you're Coach Tavo and this offense, you need to continue pounding the ball because right now Ensworth's defense is getting broken down by bits and pieces against this run game.
It'll be 2nd and 6. Or 2nd and a long 5, I suppose. Ball at the 25-yard line. They're going to send Pfeiffer in motion. It's going to set the handoff. That's Anthony Wright. Have 2 or 3 yards, not enough to get the first down. So if the Irish are about, looks like 3rd and 3, depending on the spot. And Malloy on the stop. And Turrentine. Some of those defensive backs like Turrentine have been getting in there on the run stops. But, of course, if the safeties are playing the run, that does give you opportunities to throw deep if you're so inclined. So now here we go, 3rd and 2 for Father Ryan, approaching the 2-minute mark of the first quarter. Ensworth 7, Father Ryan 0. 5 for the near side receiver, Christian Smith on the far side. 2 running backs. This is going to be a handoff. Anthony Wright got the ball, and he was driven backward. A good job by that Tigers defense. That front 7 got the push. And we'll see where his forward progress is not as bad as it looked where he was stopped. It's just maybe a 1-yard loss, but still on 3rd and 3 to go the wrong direction. It's a tackle for loss. It appears Father Ryan's going to go for it. Got the ball at the 23-yard line. They could try a field goal here, but instead of that, Irish is going to line up as if they're going to go for it. Father Ryan has already used 1 timeout this first half, as has Ensworth. 1:20 and counting late in this first quarter. So in this 4th and 3, it's going to be a hard count to try and get Ensworth to move into the neutral zone. Tab Scott rolls far side, throws toward that corner. Receiver falls down, and we get a flag. It'll be pass interference with Josh Pfeiffer over there in the corner, and Father Ryan's going to get a first down off a penalty.
Yeah, if you look on the replay, and I don't think you can see it right now on Ensworth's video board, but it looks like that the defender pushed Pfeiffer down on that play, and that was a nice call by the referees to see the pass interference and be aware of it.
So pass interference, the call. And we saw the it's a beautiful jumbotron they have here. But for having a big scoreboard type screen, it fits beautifully into the way that brick building looks over there. Father Ryan will certainly take it, though. So on 4th down, pass interference gives Father Ryan fresh life. So from the 11, the Irish in the red zone. 1st and 10 for Father Ryan. Approaching, the clock is stopped, 1:05 to go here late in this first quarter. Ensworth 7, Father Ryan 0. And again, a dual running back look for the Irish. It's going to be a handoff. Jaden Robinson. Jaden Robinson's going to be stopped for a loss. Jude Malloy read that one.
Is tackled behind the line of scrimmage by number 15, Jude Malloy.
We're going to question about who made the tackle, had the run. The PA announcer is very audible to us here. Although I love Ensworth campus is beautiful, no complaints. And on a night that finally starting to feel like it's fall. It's now 90 degrees out here. It's still a bit warmer than usual for this time of year, but no complaints here. As the clock runs, 35 seconds to go. 17 on the play clock, so Father Ryan has to snap at least one more time. One will be 2nd and 12 from the 13-yard line of the Tigers. DC Tab Scott trying to buy time. Throws to his outlet man near side complete. Parker Urban, his first catch of the game, forced out of bounds for a few yards of a gain. And because Erdman went out of bounds, that stops the clock, so we'll get at least one more play.
Third down and 10.
So Erdman gets the Irish back to their original line of scrimmage when they had this last 1st and 10 ball at the 11 to the 12-yard line. Kind of in between them, I guess. It's tough when you're up, center of the field looks nice, but catching things at an angle from up here be a little bit challenging. So here we go for Father Ryan on this 3rd and 10. 19 seconds to go, first quarter. It's Ensworth leading Father Ryan 7-0. One running back, 3 receivers, 2 to the far side. And with Beekman blocking on that far side, Tapscott is going to roll through the corner of the end zone. Receiver fell down, incomplete. Intended for Christian Smith.
Tapscott's pass is incomplete.
And it was William Wright on coverage for the Tigers. And so Father Ryan appears to be going for a field goal. Now I'll bring out Zach Wisnowski. Wisnowski is a junior. He played as a starter, as a place kicker as a freshman for Father Ryan 2 years ago. And on that memorable win over Ravenwood, that was his final play of the season as it turned out. Field goal's blocked. Blocked field goal. They're going to take this back. Ensworth, that's Turrentine, Andre Turrentine. And unless Father Ryan can get there, it looks like they won't. Turrentine to the 10, to the 5. Touchdown, Ensworth.
Like we said earlier, Ensworth is known for scoring really fast in the first quarter. So if you're Father Ryan in this situation, you need to start focusing on Ensworth's scheme and their plays. So I think that's the most important thing for Father Ryan right now.
So a pair of special team disasters for Father Ryan. They had 2 long sustained drives like you'd want to have against this very good Ensworth team. Ensworth with an extra point is about to go 14-0 on what will be the last play of the first quarter. They have not yet had an offensive play from scrimmage, and they lead 14-0.
Yeah, right now, Ensworth's key right now has been their special teams.
Extra point is up and good by place kicker Evan Cooley. So that'll do it for Father Ryan and Ensworth after 1 quarter. Your score, Ensworth School 14, Father Ryan High School 0. We'll be back for the second quarter in just a moment. This is Father Ryan Football on ATW Sportscast. So we start the second quarter here on the campus of the Ensworth School. I'm Lou Pickney, and from behind the Crest, Tyler Fernandez. And Tyler's a crazy first quarter, we think about it. Ensworth 0 offensive snaps. Yet they lead Father Ryan 14-0 after a punt return for a touchdown and a blocked field goal attempt taken back for a touchdown. Score update out of Chattanooga. McCauley leads 7-6 over Baylor. Baylor with a touchdown but missed the extra point. That's the only other Division II AAA East region game of the night. Is last night it was Knoxville Catholic on national television. ESPN2 beating Brentwood Academy up in Knoxville. Father Ryan plays Knox Catholic to close the regular season 4 weeks from tonight.
Yeah, and this is like one of those weird games. Like I'm in like plenty of games, and I don't think anybody in high school football has ever seen touchdowns made by special teams.
Kickoff goes out of bounds. Not the best effort for Ensworth. It's Hayden Horn.
Yep.
And it'll be the 35-yard line where the Irish will start. I don't know if that was a concerted effort or the ball just kind of took a weird bounce off the kick or what. But Horn is their kickoff specialist, their punter.
Yeah, on the kickoff's interesting. What we've seen from Ensworth thus far is that they're trying to like kick it high and more towards the sideline. So like when the special team offense gets it, then the special team defense is already there. But I think that time there was just a little too much arc and a little too much of an angle there on the sideline. So Father Ryan gets the ball in nice field position.
So the Irish trail 14-0 here at Ensworth starting the second quarter. And it's another shotgun dual running back look for the Irish. 2 receivers, one out of that far side, one to the near. And the running back's Jaden Robinson. And the man who just got handed off to there, that's Anthony Wright. Anthony Wright pushing forward, got about a 4 or 5 yard gain, depends on the spot. Maybe even more than that. He may have gotten past the 40-yard line. The 45-yard line is the yardage to gain to get another first down for Father Ryan. Looks like a 6-yard gain. It's an interesting approach here by Father Ryan with that dual running back. You can't just key in on the one runner when you do that. We've seen some dual running back sets from Father Ryan this season, but kind of few and far between. Not like what we've seen here. So I agree from a schematic standpoint. It's a smart move of this coaching staff to draw it up, and thus far the execution, at least the offense. Special teams has been a problem, but offense has been a bit of a different story. As Beacom comes to the near side for blocking purposes. 2 receivers, 2 running backs. This time it's Anthony Wright spun around for maybe a 2-yard gain.
Anthony Wright on the carry, again tackled by
if you're Father Ryan right now, you just need to continue to punch the football, continue to drive down the field. They have been in the red zone once, but haven't come away with points. And I remember interviewing as well Coach Rector saying that against BJ they had 4 drives in the red zone. If they connected like on 2 of those 4 drives, they won. But I think the most important thing for Ryan is to continue to punch the football and get into that red zone and score some points.
12 seconds on the play clock. Father Ryan's coaches on that far side directing traffic, trying to get some players moved in different directions. Jack Vettersil's into the game for Father Ryan. They're going to send Urban motion to the near side. It's going to be a keeper. DC Tabscott's got the first down, 3rd and 1. Father Ryan showing a little bit of a different look or two there. Open up the middle just enough, and Tabscott moves the chains.
Yeah, it's kind of a little bit of a wildcat play, but this time like with the quarterback, because in wildcat plays it's either a running back or a receiver in there, and he did like a little play fake with Urban and was able to go up the middle and have a nice hole and get enough yardage for the first down. And I felt like on that run, that's where Tabscott's leg was put to the test right there.
Vettersil's one of 3 receivers on that far side for Father Ryan, along with Pfeiffer and the slot, Erdman. Hard count, nearly got Ensworth to move, didn't though, and so with 12 seconds on the play clock, Father Ryan will make an adjustment. Solo running back moving to the right, and that's Jaden Robinson. Jaden Robinson tries to cut to that far side, but wow, good leg strength. I thought it was making maybe a 1-yard gain at best. He got 3 out of it. Get that forward momentum going. I see some defensive changes being made by Ensworth as they're going to bring number 75, Axton Hunt, to the side. Tyrone Ford comes in. They don't have just a lot of big guys to Ensworth, but they trying to get them in on both sides of the ball, particularly that defensive line, running a 3-4 defense. 9:30 and counting second quarter. Ensworth leads Father Ryan 14-0. And incredibly, though, Ensworth has not had a single offensive snap yet this game.
Yeah, all the key plays and all the key points are made by the special teams as of right now.
Thus far, it's been a punt return for a touchdown, a blocked field goal return for a touchdown. On this second down, run up the middle, Anthony Wright with maybe a 3-yard gain.
Anthony Wright
wait for everybody to get unpeeled there from
Jake McAllister.
So it's number 1 McAllister in there.
It'll be a 3rd down and a long 4 for the Fighting Irish.
McAllister just made the tackle, or half a tackle, comes to the sideline. 3rd down and 4 for Father Ryan. 8:48 to go, second quarter. Ensworth 14, Father Ryan 0. Irish with the ball in Tigers territory. If they get Ensworth to jump, that's a penalty. Instead, it's going to be a handoff. That's Anthony Wright cutting to the far side. Dives forward, it's going to be close. There's a flag that comes in late, so this may be coming back. I think Father Ryan's coaching staff is less than thrilled with that flag being thrown. A holding against Father Ryan, it appears. And it is. That would have been a first down, I think. It would maybe depend on the spot, but I think he had it where he landed. But it's immaterial because with the penalty, it's 10 yards from the spot of the infraction. They'll march you back. Instead of 3rd and 4, it'll be 3rd and around 14, 15, depends again where the penalty happened, where they'll mark it. So Father Ryan, and that flag came in very late.
Holding is the call. It'll bring up a 3rd down, 14 to go.
So the ball officially spotted at the Father Ryan 42. To get a first down, the Irish need to get to the Ensworth 44-yard line. So 3rd and 14.
You're following this is a big 3rd down to convert right here.
Pressure. Tapscott just heaves one up, incomplete. Christian Smith, the nearest receiver, he's in double coverage though. I think it was just the heat was coming in. That defense from Ensworth bringing the pressure. Tapscott just let it, just uncorked one deep. Nobody could catch it. Avoids a sack, but now it's on 4th and 14, a likely punting situation for Father Ryan. The first traditional punt of this game for the Irish. They already had one pooch punt that was returned for a touchdown by the Tigers. And with 21 on the play clock, it's Devin Fisher had to go over to the sideline for some reason. I don't know if it's an equipment issue or what. So I have to make the substitution. Jer Horton in to help block on this punting attempt by Zach Wesnowski. It's a high spinning punt, fair catch called for. Ensworth wisely gets away from it. It goes, well, it depends where it went out of bounds. Landed on the walkway over there towards those far stands. And they'll say the 31-yard line is where the ball went out. So no return. And at the 8:05 mark of the second quarter, we have our first look at the Ensworth offense and the Father Ryan defense. Tigers lead the Irish 14-0. And so now for Father Ryan, get their first look of the game. And Gerard Bullock's the quarterback, number 13. And his trips receivers bunched up. We get a whistle with 18 seconds in the play clock. There's some students on the field. There's some, I don't know what they were doing out there, some Ensworth students out there.
They put recognition for the golf team. And I think they probably didn't realize that the ball was about to be snapped. So the referees were very aware of it and asked the students to get off the field. So
the 8:05 mark of the second quarter. 1st and 10. The rainbow throw to the near side is going to fall incomplete. Ensworth fans wanted a pass interference call, did not get one. Michael Hart's on the coverage, but you got to look out for that number 8. Number 8 is Austin Henderson, 6'5", tight end, who's a good blocker too.
And that was a nice job by James Reed and Michael Hart's for double coverage on Henderson. And like you said, Henderson's one of their great players. So I think that's the key, is the double team Henderson.
And they've had Father Ryan various linebackers. They move back to like a 3-3-5 look, almost like that rover, an extra safety. It's like a safety / linebacker hybrid. And that's just a natural the way the game is adjusted with rule changes that were made. Is for Ensworth, they're going to bring William Wright to the sideline. Less than 8 minutes to go here in this first half. Jacob Page into the game at receiver. It's going to be a handoff, though, for Ensworth. Andre Turrentine stuck to maybe a 2-yard gain at best.
That was a nice tackle by Dylan Timmons to not allow Henderson to get more yardage as of right now. So if you're Father Ryan, you need to make a stand right here on 3rd down right here.
7:36 and counting second quarter. Ensworth 14, Father Ryan 0, but the Tigers looking at a 3rd and 9 from their own 31. Now Ensworth's going to spread out. 3 receivers, an H-back, and a running back move to the left side of Bullock, the quarterback. Bullock tees the pitch, rolls far side, throws complete, first down for the Tigers. Hubbock with a tackle, but not until the player ended up in Father Ryan territory. And that was Elijah Jenkins. Well, that was Jenkins' first reception. And moves the chains for Ensworth. They lead Father Ryan 14-0, 7:08 and counting second quarter. And Ensworth, for the first time in this game, has the ball on offense, on an offensive snap, inside Father Ryan territory. Strange to say that in a game that Ensworth leads 14-0, but that's the reality. And again, Father Ryan at 3-3-5, they'll bring an extra outside linebacker. Says a run to that far side. The flag comes in late, so we'll have to wait and see on that. It was Ingram on the carry. Ingram was waiting to see with him what was going to happen. He got injured last week early in the loss for Ensworth, but we'll see what this flag is here.
I think Cal Archdeacon is going to get nailed with the holding penalty.
I believe you're right. Just seeing the, they don't indicate the player, but I imagine that would be, if you saw it better than me then, as far as who the infraction was on. So it's 10 yards from the place where it happened, the spot of the foul. And so that'll move Ensworth back into its own territory. The Tigers, the nose of the ball right up against their own 41-yard line. 6:47 to go second quarter. Ensworth 14, Father Ryan 0.
First down Tigers, 20 to go.
Well, hang on. It says first down on the scoreboard. It says second down on the sideline there. We've got some, and the 2, it's like the 2 and the 3, so they're caught halfway in between, like a freeze frame or something. It's not like the first home game Father Ryan had that little sideline chain or line indicator had the 3 was lit up in orange. A little bit different. So is it first or second down? I'm seeing both information. Out of the gun. Bullock's going to throw deep. Erdman's there in defensive coverage. Nice ball. Pass was intended for William Wright. We have a flag. And that's probably a penalty against Father Ryan.
Also, you're going to get Erdman here for interference. And that's probably what you not want to have to happen right now.
So a penalty on Father Ryan there, and that's for as much as Father Ryan was happy earlier on that 4th down when there was a penalty called pass interference on. Oh, it's holding though. Wait a minute, we got holding on Ensworth. How about this?
Well, how about a turn of events there? I don't know if it was an offsetting penalty here as well.
Oh no, it's not. That flag that came out, I don't know if it was a defensive holding or it would be defensive holding against Father Ryan. It's a holding call against Ensworth. So
that's interesting. Interesting because I didn't see the first flag. All I saw was the flag on the interference, but I guess looks like maybe it says the flag on Ensworth came in first. I think that's what they're ruling right here.
Unless it's something like the intended receiver for Ensworth was holding on. Because you can't have offensive
pass interference, yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's rare, but you can't have it. So Irish catching a break. Pretty much you can catch a break being down 14-0. Okay.
So they're declining the penalty.
So the penalty is declined. It'll be
a 2nd down and 20 for the Tigers.
So it says 3rd on the sideline stick, but ignore that. 2nd and 20 for Ensworth. 6:20 to go, 2nd quarter. Ensworth 14, Father Ryan 0. Now the officials are having a word over. Well, I guess he's not going to have a word with the. Are we got a 5th down here? Now this is 3rd down on the scoreboard. Some clarification would be nice.
Yeah, because I think since they declined the penalty on the 2nd down, I think it's not going to be 3rd down.
And now we have a timeout, Ensworth.
You probably want to talk things over on this 3rd and long.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, we would really
so that is interesting. And it's tough to coordinate. It's a Friday night. You got people that are just helping out or working. They don't necessarily always do the same thing when it comes to this sort of thing. So you get some confusion. But nevertheless, it does look like it'll be 3rd and 20. So 1 timeout remains for Ensworth, 2 still for Father Ryan. But Ensworth, it's crazy to think that 14-0 lead before their offense even got the ball. But Father Ryan, they get a defensive stop here. They got 6:20 to go in this 2nd quarter. Now Ensworth won the opening coin toss and deferred, so they will have to. The Irish will have to kick off to Ensworth to start the 2nd half. But that's a long way from now. Father Ryan, first things first, has to stop Ensworth in this 3rd and 20.
Now I'm saying 2nd down, I think now.
Again, some clarification. They called a timeout. Can we get some clarification, please? I mean, it's just a region football game with playoff implications on the line. Come on.
The silence still saying 3rd, but just ignore it. Like you said, just ignore that.
Well, I say that. Okay, now it says 2 on the stick on that far sideline. It says 2 on the scoreboard. I think we're good. So it's going to be 2nd and 20. So whenever we get things going, it's going to be a 3-receiver look for Ensworth. So we're going to have Jenkins to this near side along with Horton. Horton's on this closest side. Horton wears number 7 for the Tigers, number 5 on him for Father Ryan is James Reed. One of those young defensive backs for the Irish. One of the vuvuzelas is there's a continued delay, and the head official will talk things over with both teams. Rock Batten, the head coach at Ensworth, his first season here. He had been an assistant here. He had connections with the school. Previously, though, Rock had been head coach at BGA. It's kind of funny the way things work out with the coaching carousel, as it were. So a long delay here at the 6:20 mark of the 2nd quarter. Trying to get everybody on the same page. Okay, what down is it? How much time we got left? Okay, 2nd down and 20 for Ensworth. 6:20 to go, 2nd quarter. Ensworth 14, Father Ryan 0. And Gerard Bullock walked toward the sideline for a moment to get some instruction with his team having the ball in that far hash. Bullock in the pocket, belt the heat, throws, get away, complete. 10-yard gain to a 15-yard gain. Not enough for a 1st down. A nice pitch and catch, though, by Ensworth. Reception by Elijah Jenkins. That's his 2nd.
Yeah, this is a little interesting because, like, on the roster, he's more of like a cornerback, so it's like a safety back. So if you're probably following around, that's probably what you not want to have happen right there is allow a big game and give him a third third and reachable yardage.
Yeah, kind of that scat back you use as a running back, a receiver, a lot of different things. So 3rd down and 6 for Ensworth. The Irish 44. Play fake, throws near side. Incomplete, hit the ground. I thought it was a beautiful catch, but the ball must have just barely hit the turf. Isaiah Horton, the intended receiver. James Reed in the vicinity.
I mean, yeah, I thought it was a catch too, but I don't know. Yeah, right now they're gonna bring out the punting unit.
So Ensworth leading 14-0. 5:42 to go. Second quarter. Appears to line up as if they're gonna punt the ball. It's 4th and 6. So Father Ryan's not gonna just try and get him to jump into the neutral zone and get a free first down. Parker Erdman standing on his own 11-yard line, or his heels will be around the 10-yard line of the Irish. Looks like Father Ryan's gonna bring some heat. And it's Horton, number 89. No, it's a fake. It's a fake. Father Ryan sniffed it out, though, and it's going to be a turnover on downs. Father Ryan stops the fake.
That was a nice play by Devin Fisher, number 87, to realize that the fake was going to happen. And as a result, Father Ryan gets nice field position. So Ensworth trying to take a little bit of a gamble on that one, and they weren't able to succeed on that one, but nice heck of a try there.
Well, I mean, if you're going to try a play like that, up 14-0, but at midfield, you take a risk and thinking maybe Father Ryan's just going to be bringing the heat and you can slip one by. Not in that case, though. Father Ryan was ready for the challenge. And so Ensworth, it's so far with 0 points from its offense, but nevertheless a 14-0 lead. The punt return for a touchdown. The blocked field goal try that went back for a touchdown. So Father Ryan down 14-0. 1st and 10 from its own 45-yard line. It's going to be 2 receivers. 2 running backs, the quarterback, junior DC Tabscott, playing with a bone bruise. We have a delay of game. The flag that came out. Play clock was on 0. And so a 5-yard penalty against the Irish. You're supposed to get a 40-second play clock, and normally you do, but this is a 25-second play clock in some situations, like after a penalty where they reset things. So Father Ryan now looking at a 1st and 15 from its own 40. 5:34 to go second quarter. Irish are down by 14. It's going to be a handoff, spin move by Anthony Wright. Anthony Wright with maybe a 3.5 yard gain.
Anthony Wright on the carry, met by Javon Edwards. It'll be a second down.
So it's going to be a 4-yard gain. I don't know if it was a second and a long 11 or what. But I think it
was 1st and 15. So you got the 4-yard gain to make it 2nd and 11, approaching the 5-minute mark of the second quarter. Ensworth 14, Father Ryan 0. Irish taking that double running back look out of the shotgun. 2 receivers, and then Beacom on this near side for blocking protection. Fakes to the near side run, throw incomplete to the far side, intended for Christian Smith.
Yeah, just a little bit early on the throw, and as a result, it was just a little. Christian Smith was a little bit ahead of him. So, yeah, right now in this situation, you need to convert here on 3rd down after on great field position.
It was number 3 for Ensworth, William Wright there, providing coverage as Jaden Robinson, number 22 for the Irish, heads to the sideline. Anthony Wright, number 15, in on this 3rd and 11. 4:52. The clock is stopped. Second quarter. The Tigers lead the Irish by 14 points. Father Ryan, 2 receivers bunched up to the near side, 2 to the far. And 1 running back to the left of DC Tabscott. Ensworth brings some pressure. He's going to heave 1 deep. Christian Smith. And it falls incomplete. Beautiful idea. The conception was there as far as the throw. Just maybe just a half a beat too much on the throw. And so the incompletion stops the clock at the 4:44 mark of the second quarter, and Father Ryan appears to be ready to punt. And it's Keyshawn Lawrence. He already has 1 kick return for a touchdown in this first half. The the pooch kick, the punt. Here's Zach Wisnowski. A nice spinning kick that's going to go away from Lawrence, and the Tigers take an Irish roll right at the 20-yard line. Not as good as the touchback. So Father Ryan, special teams, comes through there. A good punt. And now you've got Ensworth with 1 timeout remaining in this first half. They lead 14-0. Father Ryan's defense, it's only their first time seeing the offense out here in this game in the second quarter, just because of the unusual way that this game transpired. the 2 long drives for Father Ryan and the 2 scores for Ensworth. So Ensworth is going to bunch things up a bit as they tend to do with 16 seconds on the play clock. It's a little bit of a communication issue. And again, Ensworth only 1 timeout left. They don't want to have to burn it here if they don't have to, but 8 seconds. The player's coming on late. Jake McAllister coming out there. 3 seconds. It's going to be a timeout for Ensworth. It's got to be.
Timeout on the field.
Yeah, Ensworth with some confusion player personnel-wise, and as nice as it is for teams having that 40-second play clock in a lot of cases to be able to take their time, in some cases it's not enough.
Right.
So Father Ryan at this point, you're down 14-0, but the defense has kept them in this, certainly when they've actually been out there against this offense. Now is the second drive, but it's unusual, very unusual for it to play out the way it has thus far.
Games begin November 9th.
But again, a reminder, next week is an off week, a bye week for Father Ryan. Everybody can rest up a bit. And then 2 weeks from tonight, it's down in Chattanooga. Visit to play unbeaten McCallie. From there, it's home in the senior night as Lipscomb comes to play the Irish. Trent Dilfer, former NFL quarterback, probably as well known now as any for his time as a personality on ESPN, now a high school football coach at Lipscomb. That's coming up a little later on this season. So now for Ensworth, it's going to be 1st and 10 with the ball at their own 20. A 1-yard run at best. A good job defensively by Father Ryan to sniff it out. Ingram on the carry. And thus far, Father Ryan's been kind of able to bottle up that Ensworth running attack.
Charles Ingram on the carry.
That's what you need to continue to do right now if your Father Ryan is take what the offense is giving you. And I think the most important thing for this defense is stopping the run and locking down the corner. So, and I felt like Father Ryan defense has done their job thus far.
A substitution for Ensworth. For whatever reason, number 7 Horton had to come to the sideline. Replaced by Jacob Page, number 17, on this 2nd and 9 throw. Nearly intercepted. Grayson Hubbock.
That's
He
nice.
had pick 6 in his eyes. Nice move on the play. Couldn't bring it in, though. Incomplete.
And nice anticipation there by Grace Hubbock. Even though he didn't come up with the interception, and you have to be proud of that, of him just knocking away the pass against Andre Turretine, one of Ensworth's great receivers on the team. So if you're Grayson Hubbock and you're Coach Privet in this defense, you got to be proud of the effort that they've put up thus far in holding Ensworth to 0 points.
3rd and 9, 3:47 to go. Second quarter, Ensworth leads Father Ryan 14-0. The Tigers will spread it out and then bring that receiver in motion. The throw back to that far side, complete to the 25. This could be trouble past the 30 to the 40. Nice tackle made at midfield to save the touchdown. Michael Hartz.
And we saw Michael Hartz last week. Just playing a great game and tackling wise. He's been there for most of those tackles, and it was a nice play by him. Probably a saving touchdown right there.
Well, Keyshawn Lawrence, you get him in the open field. I've called games before a couple of years ago when he was like the primary running back as a sophomore here for this Tigers team, and he's just electric. He's so talented as a safety. They don't want to use him too much in that role, but there you see why he's such a valuable part of this Tigers team. 1st and 10 in Father Ryan territory, jet sweep. Irish are going to stop him for maybe a half-yard gain or a 1-yard gain at best before the Irish defense surge push him back.
That was a nice play by Matthew Zito, number 36, being the first guy there and grabbing him on the legs to not allow him to get any more yards.
Also saw Matthew Beacon, number 8 in the vicinity. He plays a lot on both sides of the ball for this Irish team. So Turrentine stopped on that one. He remains on the field for this Tigers team. 2nd and 9. The ball at the Irish 48-yard line via pass. Bullock's going to throw far side, complete. A nice catch on a low throw, a couple spin outs, and it's a 1st down for Ensworth. Charles Ingram showing his ability to change direction quickly, and he gets the Tigers a fresh set of downs.
And it's a 1st down for the Tigers.
The wind the clock, 2:37 and counting, second quarter. Ensworth 14, Father Ryan 0. Of course, Ensworth only 1 timeout remaining. Father Ryan has 2. Throw far side, complete. Another spin around by that Father Ryan defense to prevent anything more than a 1-yard gain. Jude Malloy on the catch.
And a nice play by Parker Ehrman, number 6, being the first guy there to slow down his progress, and only allowed a short gain on there as a result. And a nice play also by the other guys to combine together and take him backwards, but I think the total is 1-yard gain at this point.
So Zito and Becker both in the vicinity for Father Ryan. The Irish, they'll use some 3-4 kind of a look. 3 down linemen, 4 linebackers, but a lot has been 3 down linemen, 3 linebackers, and 5 defensive backs, so 3-3-5. 2nd and 9. 1:40 to go first half. It's going to be a jet sweep. No, it's not a fake jet sweep. Bullock's going to keep it himself. Bullock doesn't run it just a whole lot, but he's able to run with success when he's able to finally get a crease there. Father Ryan closes the hole. Maybe a 4 or 5 yard gain.
And if you're a Father Ryan, this is a big stop right here on 3rd and short for Ensworth.
And you notice Father Ryan made the switch, bringing Marcus Kennedy Holt into the game, spelling Torrey Heron for a play at that nose tackle position. Some of those big, young, but very large linemen for Father Ryan. Has to play both sides of the ball. So 3rd and 3. Irish do not need to jump here if they can help it. To approach the 1-minute mark. Sweep to that far side. 1st down for Ensworth. Can they stop him past the 10? Hubbock finally escorts him out of bounds. Charles Ingram on the carry. And that's going to set up the Tigers with 1st and goal. In the red zone of the Irish. 53 seconds to go late in this first half. Still say got to the 10-yard line and that's it, but that sets up now a 1st and goal, so Ensworth can't get a 1st down in the traditional sense, but they're 10 yards away from making this a 3-possession game.
It'll be a 1st down for the Tigers at the 10-yard line.
And now it's Ensworth going to the dual running back look, along with an H-back. This is some trickery. It's going to be Bullock himself. Bullock towards that corner into the end zone. Touchdown, Ensworth. So it's Gerard Bullock, the quarterback, from 10 yards out. 45 seconds to go, 2nd quarter. It's now 20-0 Ensworth with an extra point coming. And remember, Ensworth gets the ball to start the 2nd half.
Okay, so right now, if you're Father Ryan and Coach Tauber in this offense, you need to have a game plan for this drive.
Bullock to hold, Cooley to kick.
So it's Evan Cooley, number 25. Bullock, the starting quarterback's the holder. Kick is up and good. So the extra point splits the uprights. So here's what you're looking at for Father Ryan. Father Ryan's down by 21 points. Ensworth gets the ball to start the 2nd half. Irish have 2 timeouts though, and so at this point, you see what Ensworth's going to give you as far as they're going to kick it deep, or they're going to kick it out of bounds. Go for that intermediate length kick. For Father Ryan, it's just, and it can be very disheartening for an offense. You get the long, sustained drive, and then something goes wrong, and then you get another long, sustained drive, and it's another, Ensworth. Again, you won't see very many games like that where it's 14-0 for a team that hasn't had a single offensive possession snap from, under center.
Yeah, it's a little bit interesting to see that because it happens. So it doesn't really happen a lot, but it's been interesting in this first half for Ensworth, having 2 special team touchdowns and having 1 offensive. So if you're Father Ryan, you need to go into get on the scoreboard at least going into halftime. But if you're Coach Tubman's offense, you probably need to go for a touchdown at this point.
So the Irish set to return down by 21 points. They got 2 timeouts and 45 seconds if they want to put any points on the board before halftime. High spinning kick going toward the far side, fielded at the 22, to the 25, to the 30, still going to the 35. 39 seconds now, 38. They'll stop the clock. They finally do.
Yeah, if you're Father Ryan right here, you need to have excellent field position with about 38 seconds left to drive down the field and score a touchdown. If you're Coach Tavo in this offense, you need to score a touchdown and get on the scoreboard and have some confidence going into the 2nd half because Ensworth is a talented team. Man.
So it's Stephon Pondras, 3rd kick return of the first half. Irish are going to go shotgun with Tabs. Got 2 running backs This is going to be a handoff. Jaden Robinson. He'll have maybe a 3-yard gain. The clock runs 30 seconds and counting. Neither team looks inclined to call a timeout here. Father Ryan picks up, it looks like, let's say, a 4-yard gain.
Jaden Robinson on the carry.
By Jaden Robinson, but I think that's going to be the last play of this first half. Ensworth's not going to use a timeout. Father Ryan doesn't seem particularly interested in that. Down by 21. Perhaps reset things at halftime. But you think about it, that the pooch punt that was returned for a touchdown and the blocked field goal taken back for a touchdown. You take that away and it's 7-0, but you can't take that away. And so for Father Ryan now, and down by 21 points on the road against the team they have to beat to have any sort of realistic chance in the playoffs. And it's not going to be easy for Father Ryan to come back in the second half, but they will try. So take a break for halftime. Your score, Ensworth School 21, Father Ryan High School 0. We're going to take a break for halftime, be back on the other side of the second half. This is Father Ryan football on ATW Sportscast. So we approach the end of halftime here in West Nashville on the campus of the Ensworth School. Father Ryan trails Ensworth 21-0 at the half. Hey everybody, I'm Lou Pickney, and from behind the Crest, Tyler Fernandez. And Tyler, for as much as Father Ryan had possession of the ball offensively for the entire first quarter into the second, it was a couple of quick scores by Ensworth, and then one more touchdown on top of that, make it 21-0. So Father Ryan at the half got to make some adjustments here if they want any chance to get back into this.
Yeah, absolutely. The defense has done pretty well on limited run, only given like one touchdown. But I feel like now it's up to the offense to contribute for what the defense has given them. So we'll see what Coach Tavu comes up with on Father Ryan's next offensive possession. But right now, start on defense, and the defense has performed pretty well.
Well, the defense, had plenty of time to get prepared. Obviously, there are guys that play on both sides for both teams, but it was just kind of crazy, the turn of events. For those of you that missed the early part, I can recap real quick. Ensworth won the opening coin toss deferred. They'll get the ball to start the second half. Father Ryan, long sustained drive, stalled out in Ensworth territory, and they went for a play they've run plenty of times, and teams don't usually seem to figure it out. The pooch punt from the quarterback stepping back a couple of yards. In this case, though, for Father Ryan, not so good as Ensworth was ready, took it back for a touchdown. That was Lawrence on that one. That Keyshawn Lawrence, a really good defensive back. That's a verbal commit to Tennessee. And then Father Ryan got the ball again on offense, down 7-0, drove down, got themselves in field goal territory. Field goal gets blocked, taken back for a touchdown by Ensworth. It's 14-0, and then one late touchdown by the Tigers, and here we are, 21-0 at halftime here in West Nashville. And for Father Ryan, if they can't come back to win this game, they're going to fall to 0-3 in Division II AAA East play, and only the 4 teams out of the top 6 make it into the playoffs. And so for Father Ryan, if they can't pick up a victory here tonight, that's going to put them in a severe disadvantage. It means they would almost for sure have to win at McCallie, which is would be a tall order. Speaking of McCallie, over scores real quick of interest. McCallie leads 21-20 at Baylor. It must be an absolute barn burner going on down there in Chattanooga. Elijah Howard, the really good running back for Baylor, had a long touchdown, called back on a penalty. He's got another one that stood, and so Baylor's hanging in there with a really good McCallie team. Father Ryan saw Baylor earlier this season at Father Ryan's campus at Giacosa, and that game being played down at Baylor. Father Ryan will see McCallie coming up 2 weeks from tonight in Chattanooga. Also score of interest, Montgomery Bell Academy 17, Pope John Paul II High School 0. That was near halftime of last word. Briarcrest 7, Christian Brothers 3. Now these are Division II AAA West schools, but Briarcrest is unbeaten, has looked really good, beat MBA. They've had a very strong team, but at least through one half, Christian Brothers hanging in there with them. Also on that west side, Memphis University School 28, St. Benedict 0 at the half. And then Lipscomb on Father Ryan's schedule in a few weeks, non-Division II play. They trail CPA 14-7. So they get you caught up in the scores here. It's 21-0, Ensworth leading Father Ryan. The Irish set the kickoff to start the second half. And it will be the junior Zach Wesnowski with the ball right at midfield. As far as between the two sidelines, that 40-yard line. A dangerous return men waiting for the Tigers of Ensworth, and this is how we begin the second half. High spinning kick fielded by Nutman at the 20 to the 25. Stuck on the 27-28-yard line. Half dozen Irish make the tackle. Here's William Wright on the return.
Wright was met by quite a few of the kicking team of the Irish.
They'll spot the ball at the 50-27 by the time it's all said and done. So that's where Ensworth will have its first starting field position of this second half. 11:53 to go, third quarter. Ensworth 21, Father Ryan 0.
And if you're the Irish defense, you need to get a big stop and possibly force a 3-and-out right here, start the second half.
Look how tightly bunched everybody is. You got William Edmondson up near the line. It's going to be a run to the far side, tackle for loss, or maybe back to the line of scrimmage. Looks like Torrey Herron getting in there, big number 55.
Yeah, everybody's bunched up. And Father Ryan, nice play by them to able to see it coming. So anytime Ensworth's in that bunch formation, Father Ryan's defense knows that it's going to be a run right away. So
on the carries, number 21, Martez Cooksey. He's only a freshman. He's played some for this Tigers team this season. No gain, 2nd and 10. 11:20 to go, third quarter. Ensworth 21, Father Ryan 0. And also that big tight end for blocking purposes to the far side. Says the throw to the far side. A beautifully timed hit by Parker Erdman. By a tackle for loss. Father Ryan's defense coming out strong. It was right on the reception. No chance at all to react. Perfect timing by Erdman.
Yeah, right there. Parker Erdman with a nice play right there. Not allowing the defender, the receiver to get any yards. And like you said, just boom, right away. That was just perfect timing right there by Parker Erdman. And if you're Father Ryan, you have to make a stand and force a 3-and-out and force Ensworth to punt deep in their own territory.
It's actually Ingram on the reception, about a half-yard gain from where he caught it before he was hit by Erdman. 3rd and 9. 10:32 to go, third quarter. Irish are down by 21. Could use a stop here. With 3 seconds in the play clock, Ensworth's got to pick up the pace. They can call a timeout. This is strange. All the season long, it seems like the 40-second clock has given teams plenty of time to talk things over. But now in this game, a couple of times now we've seen that play clock hit 0. Unusual the way they've changed the game for this season. So that works to the Irish's advantage, I guess, in this case. It gives Ensworth an opportunity to talk things over. 3rd and 9, the ball at the Tigers' 27, 28-yard line, trying to see over the Father Ryan players on that far side to see where it's marked. The Tigers need to get the ball to their own 37 to get a fresh set of downs on this 3rd and 9 coming up here. So Ensworth after the timeout. I'll save the read about the open house for another time. I was starting to get it out. As soon as I did, that's when Ensworth's back out there. I'll let you know what the Father Ryan open house coming up here in a bit. It's a tease for you. 3rd and 9, Ensworth. Ball at their own 28-yard line. Ensworth will bring Henderson in motion to the near side. Fake the pitch play. Bullock back around. Being chased. Throws near sideline. Completely out of bounds. It was a good effort to bring the ball in for Ensworth. Elijah Jenkins had Grayson Hubbock, number 12 for Father Ryan in the area. He actually made the catch but landed out of bounds. That stops the clock. 10:14 to go, third quarter, and you presume to be a punting situation now. It is Hayden Horn.
Yeah, on that last play, Bullock just led his receiver just a little too far to the sidelines, and it was always fourth down. So a nice job by this Irish defense to force a 3-and-out right here.
Horton a little bit late getting on for Ensworth, but he does. The kick is a spinner. Erdman calls for the fair catch and makes it just to the Ensworth side of the Father Ryan 40-yard line. Or they'll actually put the nose of the ball right at the 40. So Father Ryan's defense coming out of the half. You get what you want, 3-and-out. You're forced to punt. And you start with pretty nice field position at your own 40. Now for Father Ryan down by 3 scores, you got to get the offense going. But when you think about time of possession, Father Ryan, they had the ball the entire first quarter the way as far as, actual, offense versus defense. But the two special teams plays that went Ensworth's way gave them that 14-0 lead before their quarterback took the field. For the Irish quarterback, junior DC Tabscott on 1st and 10. It's going to be a handoff. Jaden Robinson bowled over a couple of defenders, 5 or 6 yard gain. And Jaden Robinson, you'll notice when he gets that head of steam going, he's tough to bring down.
Jaden Robinson on
because of the leg churning. What I've noticed in the first half and pretty much all season from these Irish running backs is they continue to churn their legs and get extra yardage.
As we see the stick on that far side in 3rd down, an issue with that again. They'll fix it at 2nd. So 2nd and 4.
2nd down and 4.
9:35 and counting, third quarter. Ensworth leads Father Ryan by 21 points. And with 18 seconds on the play clock, quarterback DC Tabscott looks to the sideline. He's got to his left running back Anthony Wright, to his right running back Jaden Robinson. Handoff, Anthony Wright. Wright's trying to cut it back towards that far side. Has the first down. Go out of bounds and Ensworth territory around the Tigers' 45-yard line. Nice play there by the Irish to get the first down and move the chains.
That's a nice play by Anthony Wright to bounce it to the outside. What I've noticed from some of these running backs, not only for Father Ryan but also for oppositions too, is that they're dangerous when they get to the outside. And right now, Father Ryan is showing that they still have the guts to run the ball. And right now in the first half, they've done an excellent job of running the ball.
And with 20 seconds on the play clock after looking over the defense, you're right, it's been a very strong dose of the run from Father Ryan. That dual running back look out of the shotgun. It's going to be a keeper this time. DC Tabscott, and he'll have maybe a 1 yard gain. Father Ryan Faithful hold their collective breath and slide, please, DC. I appreciate the effort out there, but especially after last week, definitely want to make sure DC stays as healthy as possible. But Malloy on the stop. That's a 2-yard gain, sets up 2nd and 8. 8:50 to go, third quarter. Ensworth 21, Father Ryan 0. And the Irish looking at 2nd and 8 in Tigers territory. It's trips receivers to the far side with Beacom in a receiver role. He's very versatile at tight end. And then Pfeiffer, the lone receiver to this near side. Over with Beacom on the far side, you got Erdman, slot side, and Christian Smith as well. It's a handoff. Jaden Robinson. Strength to hold on to the ball and to keep moving forward for about a 3-yard gain. It's about a 3rd and 4, maybe a 3rd and 3.
Robinson on the carry. Brought down by number 1, Jake McAllister.
And so it looks like Jaden Robinson a little bit gimpy going off to the side, favoring his left ankle. So looking to the side, Father Ryan brings in both of the Wright brothers, Anthony and Antonio, 15 and 10 respectively. Going to be Anthony Wright to the left, Antonio Wright to the right of Father Ryan quarterback DC Tabs. Got 2 receivers far side on this 3rd and 4 with 8 seconds on the play clock. Ensworth brings a little bit of pressure. Throw complete. It's a first down to the far side. Christian Smith will have the ball inside the 30, maybe the 29, 28-yard line of Ensworth, and he gets out of bounds.
That was a nice play by Tapscott, seeing Christian Smith wide open on the sideline, and he was aware of it and found him for a nice gain. And Father Ryan is moving the ball down the field like they'd have done the first half.
Pfeiffer zips over to this near side to get in position. Get the hard count by Tabscott, but nobody moves on that front line for Ensworth. 7:38 to go, third quarter. Ensworth 21, Father Ryan 0. The Irish, after getting the three and out on defense to start the second half on a long drive. That's Anthony Wright. And now maybe a 2 or 3 yard gain.
And Father Ryan still showing the courage for the run game, and for a couple of games this season it has gone their way. It has gone their way, and they have continued to run the ball against this Tiger defense.
And Luke was in at running back for Father Ryan. Number 32, Bryshawn Jackson comes in for Antonio Wright. Anthony Wright's still in the game as well. And we've got a false start for Father Ryan. Just as soon as I mentioned him, Bryshawn Jackson, he flinched just enough. Has to be a 5-yard penalty. So for Father Ryan, instead of 2nd and 7, it's going to be 2nd and 12. Jackson, number 32, got in there. And he's going to go to the sideline and be spelled by Parker Erdman. Those are the kind of mistakes Father Ryan cannot afford to make if they want to get back in this one. Down 21 points on the road against the team they've only ever beaten once before in football. So trips receivers to the near side. The clock rolls with 13 seconds on the play clock. Instruction from the sideline is Tabscott barks something to his offensive line. 7 seconds on the play clock. 6:45 to go and counting third quarter. The Irish are down by 21. This is a handoff. That's Anthony Wright. Still up, maintained his balance somehow. He'll be close to a first down, maybe a yard or two shy. Tremendous effort there after that initial burst to maintain his balance, keep moving forward. Turrentine finally makes the stop, and a nice gain on that run. Again, Father Ryan finding some success with the run.
Yes, and like I've been saying pretty much all game, if the running backs continue to turn those legs, like we saw there on that with Anthony Wright, then they will continue to have success and gain extra yards.
See Cole Becker into the game for Father Ryan, that kind of H-back tight end. This is going to be that I formation style. 2 fullbacks blocking for Anthony Wright. He's got the first down past the 20 into the red zone of the Tigers. Father Ryan moves the chains on third down. A nice long sustained drive for this Father Ryan offense, and you hear the Father Ryan band from across the field. Trying to show support for the team. Father Ryan needs to score on this drive, to put it mildly. They're down by 21 points. 5:46 and counting, third quarter. Irish are down by 21. And again, it's both of the Wright brothers and the seniors. Anthony to the left and Antonio Wright to the right of junior quarterback DC Tabscott. 13 seconds on the play clock. 5:30 and counting on the game clock, third quarter in the game. Ensworth leads 21-0. Another handoff. That's Anthony Wright. Tries to get to the corner, fumbles, the ball's loose, and it appears that Ensworth has recovered. And they have. Some wrestling for the ball after the fact, but it doesn't matter. Ensworth came up with it. It's number 26 for Ensworth, Jai Morris. junior linebacker, I believe, came up with the ball for the Tigers. So Father Ryan, it's almost been emblematic of the way this game has gone for him. Long, sustained drives on offense, which you want, but then no points on the board as a result, whether it was the pooch punt taken back for a touchdown, the blocked field goal taken back for a touchdown, and then on that play, a fumble, a turnover, what Father Ryan didn't need. Now Ensworth looking at 1st and 10, up 21 points from its own 10-yard line. And the Tigers are going to spread things out a bit. 3 receivers to the far side with 12 seconds in the play clock. Bullock, the quarterback, and we have a whistle, a flag. It's going to be a procedure penalty against Ensworth. And the ball is at the 10-yard line, so it's half the distance to the goal or 5 yards, or it'll be on or about the 5-yard line, as they would say. For Father Ryan, that was just deflating that turnover there. You know, the Irish, if you get a touchdown, you make it a 2-possession game. Instead, still down by 21 points against a very good Ensworth team. It's playing at home that has quite the running game of its own, although it'll be 2 receivers on that far side, 1 to the near. Bring a little bit of motion, will the Tigers, and with 9 on the play clock, it's going to be a handoff. Running toward this near sideline, makes a cut, a beautiful cut towards midfield. This could be trouble. To the 30, can Father Ryan make a tackle? No, they can't, past the 40. It's a spin-a-rooney round to finally bring down the running back. And it's number 21, Gabriel McDaniel, making the most of his opportunity.
That's probably what you not want to have happen in this situation, where you pretty much backed Ensworth up close to probably around their 10 or 5 yard line, and a lot of big games. So if you're Father Ryan's defense, you got to hang. We have to hang in there.
So 5:01 to go, 3rd quarter. Father Ryan trails 21-0. Ensworth has the ball at their own 48-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10. So they give us the ready for play, and the clock rolls less than 5 minutes to go, 3rd quarter. And Father Ryan using that 3-3-5 look. 5 defensive backs, but they're going to bring in, that's a nice little pitch pass to Henderson. Henderson delivered a shot. Got brought down, though. Good play on both sides. Really, looks like Hartz was in there. Number 34, Michael Hartz. William Edmondson in the vicinity as well.
And we kind of saw this last week as well with when Germantown, when they with a little bit of a play fake and then an under shovel play. So
very similar. I agree. That is definitely. I'm sure they saw that on tape, and Father Ryan has had to adjust accordingly. Father Ryan teases an outside linebacker blitz. They're going to bring the heat. Bullock has to just throw it up there. Falls incomplete. That was a incompletion forced by a well-timed blitz. Michael Hartz coming in off the side.
That was a nice play by Michael Hartz, and Ensworth did not pick up the blitz, and Hartz, with the speed he had, came in unblocked, and it allowed, I can pull up on my sheet here, Bullock to throw the ball early. So that's probably what if you're Coach Privet, you got to be proud of that.
Yeah, you have to pick your spots when it comes to the blitz, but that's one advantage. If you're on a 3-3-5, you can bring up one of your defensive backs that's really a slash linebacker in the case of Hartz. Movement, you would bring in an outside linebacker teasing the blitz. They brought the heat. Ensworth didn't pick it up, and now it's 3rd and 2. Clock stopped, 4:16 to go, 3rd quarter. Ensworth leads 21-0, and the Tigers on 3rd and 2. They're going to bring man in motion. It's going to be a keeper. Bullock keeps it himself. Looks like he had the first down. May depend on the spot, and he will. That far official was for a second looked like he was to the short side of things, but they'll spot the ball at the 41. Zito on the stop for Father Ryan, but it's a fresh set of downs at the 4:04 mark of the 3rd quarter for Ensworth as the Tigers lead the Irish 21-0. So with the ball, the nose of the ball just beyond the Irish 40-yard line. The clock rolls, 3:42 and counting, 3rd quarter. Ensworth 21, Father Ryan 0. Tigers on 1st and 10. This is going to be a handoff. Big hole. Spin around. And then finally tackled. Another first down, though, for the Tigers. Reed in on a stop for Father Ryan.
I think also Michael Hartz, number 34, also in there as well.
Yeah, Hartz helped out of that as well. It's number 11, Gabriel McDaniel. And last week for Ensworth, when Ingram, their running back, when he got banged up and missing the rest of that game, McDaniel was a key part of why Ensworth was able to maintain their running attack. With two receivers out far, it's going to be another handoff from McDaniel. Ball comes loose at the fumble. Looks like the Irish have it. Waiting for that signal. Father Ryan says they've got it.
They do.
And they do.
So how about that, man?
Well, Father Ryan could have used a break. They got one there at the 3:02 mark of the third quarter. The Irish down by 21 points. And with Ensworth on a long sustained drive, it looked like that could be big trouble for Father Ryan. So Father Ryan, their long drive ended with a fumble that was lost. Ensworth fumbles in Father Ryan territory. Now the Irish have the ball down by 21, but they got the ball 1st and 10 from their own 21-yard line. It looks like the Irish are going 3 receivers.
Yeah, if you're the Irish right now, you need to score a touchdown here on this drive to stay with it, because there's only, if you count in total, there's about 15 minutes total left in this game.
This is Anthony Wright, tries to cut it in. And they'll be stopped after maybe a 4 or 5 yard gain. Nice run. A good tackle as well by Ensworth. Turrentine. Between Turrentine and Lawrence there in that secondary. And that's where it's tough, especially if you fall behind against Ensworth. Trying to throw against them is tough, but they'll also come up and make the play on running attacks as well. It's going to be 3 receivers, Erdman, Pfeiffer, and Smith to the far side. Irish with an extra tight end, presumably for blocking purposes. It's going to be a handoff. Anthony Wright has the first down for the Irish, getting to the 33-yard line. So Father Ryan keeping a true commitment to the run. And it will move the chains.
And I feel like that's what Father Ryan needs to continue to do in this situation, because even though there's not been a lot of passes through the air for Father Ryan, they have been able to establish their game on the ground.
Antonio Wright into the game at running back as Anthony Wright goes to the sideline. Again, it's trips receivers with Erdman, Pfeiffer, and I believe that's Smith out wide in that third spot. It's going to be a handoff. This is Antonio Wright. He's trying to just go low and plow his way through. Earned about a 2.5 yard gain right there. Just had to, as you noted before, though, Tyler, just keeping his legs turning.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like that's what these Father Ryan running backs need to continue, and they are continuing to do it well. Because, like I said, if they didn't continue turning the legs, they probably would have been maybe had maybe a 0 or 1 yard gain. But like I've been saying, with the legs continuing to churn, they get extra yards that way.
The hard count was tried by Father Ryan. You see Tab Scott and Antonio Wright pointing at the Ensworth line. They think somebody jumped in the neutral zone. That didn't seem to happen, though. With 8 seconds in the play clock, Father Ryan resets, trips receivers to the far side. It's going to be a handoff. That's Antonio Wright, and he's going to lose yardage. I think Ensworth smelled it out. Brought the pressure from the far side. There was just no room, and now instead of 2nd and 7, it becomes maybe 3rd and 8, a 1 yard loss. Another tackle for loss. So your Father Ryan trying to shuttle in different running backs. We saw Jaden Robinson leave with a left leg injury of some sort. That tweaked his knee or something, left the field. It didn't work out so well for Father Ryan. And they brought in Jackson. Freshman had a false start before the snap, so we got sent back to the sideline. 3rd down and 8. 23 seconds to go, third quarter. The Irish are down by 21 points. Ensworth brings some heat. Quick throw, incomplete. It was number 2 against number 2 there. Turrentine on defense.
That was intended there for, I believe, Josh Pfeiffer, number 2.
It'll be a 4th down and 8 for Father Ryan.
Indeed, Pfeiffer, the intended receiver. And with 15 seconds to go in the third quarter, down by 21 points, Father Ryan's going to line up, it appears, to punt the ball. And that's going to be Keyshawn Lawrence. We've already seen what he can do. Irish fans from seasons past certainly remember as well, but got that reminder earlier tonight how dangerous he is. And I don't know if Ensworth's going to bring much pressure. That 21-point lead, they bring some heat. A nice kick by Zach Wesnowski. Fielded by Lawrence at the 42. Breaks a couple of tackles. Just a spectacular player cutting to the near side. This could be trouble. Gets a great block past midfield. And this is going to be a touchdown for Ensworth in all likelihood. Nobody's going to catch Lawrence. Touchdown, Ensworth school.
Keyshawn Lawrence has been continuing. They've been one of their key players on the specialties. A great Ensworth has only had one offensive touchdown all night. 3 out of those 4 touchdowns they've scored have come off the special teams.
Keyshawn Lawrence is a special player. That's the first time I call in his games. I don't think I called him as a freshman. I certainly remember as a sophomore, and people were talking about him big time back then. That was 2017. Now, even though he doesn't play running back as much, you see when he gets the ball in his hands what he can do. Another touchdown for Ensworth. That's 2 punt returns for touchdowns. Extra point splits the uprights. So that makes it now Ensworth 28, Father Ryan 0. I do have one score. This is very interesting what's going on down in Chattanooga. McCauley and Baylor are tied at 28.
Wow.
Like an absolute thriller down there in Chattanooga. That one's at Baylor. And definite Division II AAA East region ramifications with that. Here for Father Ryan. That was the end of the third quarter there. I can only take a quarter break, but I guess we'll stick with it here as long as we're here. You know what would be real good right now is I get this read in for the Father Ryan open house that's coming up, because I don't know what's going to happen the rest of this game of an opportunity. Okay, October 20th, Sunday, October 20th, so in a few weeks, 12:30 to 4 p.m. on campus at Father Ryan, open house. Any family interested in having prospective students, their children, go to Father Ryan. I've got a Father Ryan education that has served me very well in my life. I strongly encourage anyone and everyone to check that out. They have children be of age considering high schools. Father Ryan's a great choice. Again, that's Sunday, October 20th, 12:30 to 4 p.m. on campus at Father Ryan. Here at Ensworth, we start the fourth quarter. Lou Pickney in from behind the Crest, Tyler Fernandez. Tyler, Irish are down by 4 touchdowns, 4 extra points, and they have 12 minutes to do something about it.
Yeah, if you're a coach director and all that, it's time to start getting into business now.
Back to receive for Father Ryan, number 6, Parker Erdman.
So it's noted.
86, Cameron by Slade.
So it is Bossley along with Erdman. Bossley to the near side, Erdman the far, but it's intermediately kick, fielded at the 16 to the 25, tries to turn the corner. The late hit after the play, flag comes in.
Yeah, no, you cannot hit somebody after they go out of bounds. So if you're Father Ryan, you probably need that 15-yard penalty.
But it's a penalty against Father Ryan. The flag was thrown, it didn't look like it. So Zephion Wade with the return. And it's been just Upman returning for Father Ryan. Ensworth has typically gone for that intermediate kick when it hasn't gone out of bounds. So block in the back will be half the distance. Father Ryan down by 28 points in the fourth quarter on the road in a game that they absolutely have to win to have any sort of realistic chance in the playoffs. And the penalty is going to send them halfway back to their own goal line. For years in Division II AAA, it's been where everybody makes the playoffs, and there are varying opinions on that. I mean, it's almost like college basketball. We get that end of the season conference tournament. You still have a chance to play your way in. Not as much the case anymore. It's more like in the old days for me. It was like 8-2 got you in the playoffs. Great, fourth place finish, not so much. But times have changed, so they've kind of got now where it's a little bit more value to the regular season. Plus those seedings, and you only have 5 region games per team. Tiebreakers will be important. So here we go for Father Ryan. 1st and 10. Ball at their own 11 or 12 yard line. It's going to be Anthony Wright running that far side's got some room. Has a first down for the Irish. Forced out of bounds around the 23-yard line. So a good run there by Wright.
And Father Ryan continuing to pound that football on the ground. And Anthony Wright and Jaden Robinson have been the stars for Father Ryan offense here tonight.
It's enough for a first down.
The clock runs here early in this fourth quarter. 28-0. Ensworth leads Father Ryan. 2 running backs on either side, one on either side of Father Ryan quarterback DC Tabscott. 2 receivers to this near side, closest to us, number 3 Christian Smith. It's going to be a handoff. Anthony Wright tries to get that edge. It's a nice push. Out of bounds at maybe a 5 or 6 yard gain. So moves the ball, stops the clock. Although say his progress was stopped in bounds, the clock continues to roll, approaching the 11-minute mark of the fourth quarter.
It'll be second down and 5 for the Irish.
So really second and 4. Second and long 4. Call it what you will. 10:50 to go fourth quarter. Father Ryan's down by 28 points. Got one receiver here on this near side, one on the other side. A little closer to the action. A pair of running backs. It's Antonio Wright to the right of Tabscott, and it's Antonio Wright getting the ball. Cuts forward as a first down for Father Ryan.
Antonio Wright on the carry.
And I continue to say that the running backs need to continue to turn their legs. And Father Ryan, I felt like, has done that here tonight. And we've seen it like others, like Jaden Robinson, Antonio Wright, and in this case, and also Anthony Wright. These guys continue to turn their legs and have a chance to continue to pound that football against this Ensworth defense.
Jack Vettersills, the receiver to the near side. 2 receivers, 2 running backs, a tight end, and junior quarterback DC Tabscott out of the gun on this 1st and 10 from the Irish 34. It's a play fake. Throw to the far side, complete. Christian Smith. Nice catch. Won't be quite up for a first down, but a 9-yard gain. The defender fell down, and if Christian Smith be able to keep his balance, he may be able to go, but not the way. Unless they get a first down.
Christian Smith is complete. Andre Turrentine on the tackle.
That was a nice play by Tabscott to throw to Christian Smith, and a nice awareness by Tabscott, realizing after he threw that ball that the defender fell down, so he knew he had faith in Christian Smith to catch that ball, and enough for Father Ryan first down.
Vettersills, the receiver in the slot for Father Ryan, 2 to this near side. Another double running back look out of the shotgun. It's going to be a run, a carry. Maybe 4 or 5 yards on the gain. And it's Ben Marchetti on the run.
Ben Marchetti on the carry.
So Marchetti, his first run of the game, gets 5 yards.
Made by Malloy.
Nice forward.
Malone.
Yeah, man, they're rather fresh.
2nd down and 5.
Father Ryan trying a lot of different options at running back. Approaching the 9-minute mark of the 4th quarter. Father Ryan's down 28-0. Got 2 receivers and 2 running backs. A tight end. And out of the gun, it's Tabscott with a high snap. They'll have to improvise with it and just go down. Be a 2 or 3 yard loss, but a little trouble to snap, and that threw the timing off. But perhaps more important for Father Ryan, the clock continues to run. 8:47 and counting. Irish are down by 28 points.
3rd down, 7 to go from the Irish.
You'll finally see the ball at the Father Ryan 47-yard line instead of 3rd and 7. Irish have to get the ball to the Tigers 46 to get a first down. 23 seconds on the play clock, but again, the game clock continues to roll. Even if Father Ryan can get a score, if it's a 5-minute drive to get there, it doesn't leave a lot of extra time for what would additionally be needed. So it's trips receivers to the far side, 1 to the near. Tabscott, only 4 pressure. Throw for Christian Smith. Catch made at the 25. Christian Smith. That's a first down for Father Ryan. Tackled by Keyshawn Lawrence. Ball's kind of floated midair. Smith came back, adjusted for it. And that's going to set up Father Ryan into Ensworth territory.
And that was a nice play by Christian Smith, and a nice route running hit by him too, allow him to come back to the football. And Keyshawn Lawrence, one of their great players, fell down, and Christian Smith was able to wait patiently and allow the ball to come into his hands and make a nice catch for a new set of downs for Father Ryan.
Erdman Smith, Erdman. The throw to that far side. That's Patrick Erdman. Complete. Erdman out of bounds, has the first down for Father Ryan. Parker Erdman, excuse me.
Patrick?
No, it's Parker. I was trying to see the 2 and the 3 on there, and they snapped the ball when I was looking down. Oh, there's Erdman with the ball.
Yeah, a nice play call there by Coach Tavo to call a wide receiver screen on that play, and Parker Erdman did the rest. He kept going for a nice 9-yard gain.
Timeout called by Ensworth, the 7:39 marker of this 4th quarter. Oh, it's a Father Ryan timeout. Excuse me. So for Father Ryan, I believe, that's their first timeout of this second half. So there's 2 timeouts left for Ensworth, 2 timeouts left for Father Ryan. But yeah, I was trying to look at those receivers on that far side. You had Erdman, and it was Pfeiffer, and then Christian Smith. Like, with that reception by Christian Smith, had to come back for it. Like you noted, that route allowed for it, and that set up Father Ryan with perhaps an opportunity to finally get on the board here midway through the 4th quarter.
Share your reason on social media with the hashtag.
And in this second half, we've seen pretty crazy second halves. Like on the first drive for Father Ryan for the second half, there was a little bit of a fumble there, and recovered by Ensworth, and then Ensworth comes back and apparently does the same thing. And for y'all, you folks at home, if you notice that some of the Ensworth players, those are wearing a little bit of pink, like pink socks, because October's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. All started by D'Angelo Williams, in which his mom had breast cancer, and then And then after that, the NFL approved October to be Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Yeah, and you see that trickle down obviously to the high school level and obviously college as well. 2nd and short now for Father Ryan. Got the ball in the red zone of the Tigers. 7:39 to go, 4th quarter. It's a handoff. Anthony Wright. He'll move the chains for a first down. It's going to set up 1st and goal for the Irish. 7:31 to go, 4th quarter. Score update, NBA now leads Pope John Paul II High School 24-3. That's late in the 3rd quarter up in Hendersonville. So it's going to be Smith and Pfeiffer, the receivers to this near side. Anthony Wright, the running back to the left of Tab Scott. Antonio Wright, the running back to the right of Tab Scott. So 1st and goal, try and extend the play to this near side. And that's going to be a penalty against Ensworth. And Antonio Wright trying to get to the corner, got brought down by the grasp of the jersey. At least if I saw that the way I believe I saw it.
I think you may be right for maybe a horse collar tackle.
That's what I was thinking, that grab from behind. Because they've changed the rule this year where it's not just your traditional grab you from behind and,
It looks like they're going to rule a face mask here against Ensworth.
So they say face mask, huh? Well, either way, it's a positive for Father Ryan. The ball moves half the distance to the goal line. The clock runs, though. Less than 7 minutes to go, 4th quarter. Irish have got to pick up the pace right here. They're down by 28 points. Less than 7 minutes to go. It's another dual running back. Antonio Wright and Anthony Wright. They'll bring Beacom, the tight end, over to this near side, where Pfeiffer is as a receiver. It's going to be a handoff. Antonio Wright into the end zone. Touchdown, Irish. At the 6:34 mark of the 4th quarter, Father Ryan's on the board.
And what a drive by DC Tab Scott in this offense. And we finally get on the board here with about 6.5 to go here at Ensworth.
And the extra point will be attempted by junior place kicker Zach Wisnowski. Looks good, is good. Pfeiffer the holder. So Father Ryan now trails 28-7. So here's what we're looking at. 6:34 to go, 4th quarter. Father Ryan's down by 3 scores. They've got 2 timeouts. And now the question for Father Ryan is, what are you going to do kicking-wise? Do you kick it deep? Do you want to tempt fate again with Lawrence? Do you kick it short? Do you try for an onside, knowing that onside kicks have a way of not turning out well? I mean, it's just a matter of time, though. I mean, if you don't get the ball back, especially this 40-second play clock, they can run the time off in a hurry. Makes it tougher to make those 4th quarter comebacks, especially if you're facing an opponent that is aware of clock management. That's the thing that last night Knox Catholic did a great job of against Brentwood Academy. They went to 2 seconds on the play clock, knowing that the more the time runs off, the more difficult it would be, and it proved to be, for Brentwood Academy to try and get back into that game. And so Father Ryan, kicking off from the 40. Zach Wisnowski, the kicker, has the tee set on that far hash on the 40-yard line, so one would anticipate he's going to kick it toward this near side. Ensworth's got some hands guys up here. Turrentine, McAllister. A few different options here on this closest to us, along with Elijah Jenkins. Some guys with some really good hands. Father Ryan down by 21 points. 6 minutes, 34 seconds to go, 4th quarter. Everybody knows it's coming. Instead, it's not. It's a deep kick. Now, this is a live ball. The Irish can get to it. Bouncing around at the 6-7 yard line. Finally picked up. Tackle made at the 16-17 yard line. So everybody thought they knew it was coming, perhaps, but a rather effective kick from a placement standpoint. That does give Ensworth the ball back. So it's Wade on the stop. 1st and 10, Ensworth. 6:28 to go, 4th quarter, leading Father Ryan by the score of 28-7. Gerard Bullock, the quarterback on this 1st and 10. It's going to be a handoff. Maybe a 7-yard gain, depends on the spot.
Charles Ingram on the carry.
I think Matthew Zeta was part of the stop. And also Michael Hartz as well.
I heard him say Hartz, and that's.
It'll be a second and a long 3 for the
So it was a 7-yard gain. Jer Horton in the vicinity as well for Father Ryan. He's playing that near side 3-4 defensive end. So on second and 3, less than 6 minutes to go. Fake the jet sweep. Instead, it's a sweep to this near side. Father Ryan misses the tackle. This could be trouble. Reed can't bring down the Ensworth player past midfield. Cutting back. Hartz finally spun around and finally brought down by Edmondson. And it was Ingram, Charles Ingram. Again, he didn't play very much last week in Ensworth's loss, but he looks to be in full health now. Broke a few tackles. It's tough when you're on defense. That fourth quarter exhaustion sets in. It becomes more and more difficult to stop the run. So the Tigers with a 21-point lead. 5:39 to go fourth quarter, have the ball in Irish territory at the Father Ryan 36-yard line. Quick throw to the near side, complete. Nice dodge of one tackle, a second made by Kennedy Holt. And there was Horton on the reception.
Isaiah Horton is complete.
It was a high percentage throw as far as the completion went. You would figure at this point Ensworth wants to keep the clock running, and they managed to do so there.
Torrey Heron on the tackle.
So it's, well, Kennedy Holt said, give me some credit.
It'll be a second down and 2 for the Tigers.
Kennedy Holt made the stop. He had subbed in for Horton. Kenny Holt wears 53, although that 3's kind of tucked up under his pad, so I'll give the PA announcer some respond on that. So run up the middle, a little bit of trickery to get the ball to Henderson. First down, Ensworth, the ball at the Father Ryan 15.
Yeah, I probably couldn't see the play from up here, but it may have been that shovel under, or probably just a handoff, kind of like a fullback handoff or something like that.
Well, and that'll work sometimes. You'll tease either a jet sweep and then it's, let's say a carry. So, with just a handoff, thing of that nature. Now, with 26 seconds in the play clock, this is interesting. Ensworth's not letting the time run down. So it's going to be a carry that far side. And they'll be close to a first down. Depends on the spot. Ingram again on the carry.
Charles Ingram on the carry. Tripped up on the 5.
Probably going to bring maybe probably half to a yard short.
But the clock continues to run. 4:16 and counting. I'm surprised Ensworth's getting to the line as quickly as they are. Not running the clock down more. They clearly like to try to go on tempo. It's like Father Ryan does at times. It's going to be a keeper by Bullock. He may have the first down. It's tough to tell from this angle. I think he's got it, though. I think it was Hubbakin on the stop.
Gerard Bullock on the carry. Tackle made by Parker Peterson.
I'll get Parker Peterson credit for the stop. There are a couple of guys in that vicinity, but it gets the first down. So 3:50 and counting fourth quarter. Ensworth's got a first and goal inside the Irish 5, with Ensworth leading Father Ryan 28-7. 3 receivers, 2 to the near side. Bullock out of the gun. It's going to hand off to Ingram. Ingram trying to overpower 4 or 5 Irish defenders. Won't do so, but he'll be stopped at the 1-yard line. But the clock continues to run. Less than 3.5 minutes to go fourth quarter. It's 28-7 lead for Ensworth. Some substitutions being made on both sides. So out of the gun with 18 seconds on the play clock. Again, not wasting any time, just hand it off to Ingram into the end zone. And it's a touchdown for Ensworth. That makes it 34-7 Ensworth with an extra point pending, with 2 minutes and 57 seconds to go here in the fourth quarter.
Archdeacon to snap, Bullock to hold, Cooley to kick.
McCauley has taken the lead on Baylor, 35-28 McCauley. 1:34 to go in Chattanooga here. Extra point.
No good, I think.
Never mind. That was a line drive.
That was like a little line drive in baseball,
Yeah, it wasn't the prettiest. And Cooley has had some issues with the extra points. He missed one a week or two ago. He had one that doinked in off the upright, but that one, again, they don't give you extra points for beauty on the kick. get it through the wickets, and he did so. So that makes it now 35-7, Ensworth leading Father Ryan, and less than 3 minutes to go in the game. And again, next week, Father Ryan is on a bye. The following week at Macaulay, I just mentioned Macaulay, unbeaten, playing at unbeaten Baylor, beating Baylor at the moment. If that game goes final before we end our broadcast here tonight, we'll let you know. But if not, then find whatever your favorite media source is to obtain that information. Either way, for Father Ryan, a loss here all but extinguishes the hopes the Irish might have had at making the playoffs this year. There are 3 games left for Father Ryan after this one, and 2 of them are Division II AAA games. But again, one is at Macaulay, the other is at Knox Catholic, who just last night beat Brentwood Academy. I noted when the season began, we've talked about this at length, Tyler, that for Father Ryan, there are no easy games on the schedule, and it's bear out to be very true.
Yes. Absolutely. Like after this game, like you said, have a bye, and then they have to take on, pretty sure, like you said earlier, Macaulay. Oh, man, Macaulay, man, they're a team that doesn't mess around, man.
They got a lot of talent on that team. And as a high spinning kick to the near side, fielded at the 26 to the 30 of a couple of would-be tacklers, finally stopped around the 34. So Ensworth kicking it short again, not giving up that long return potentially. And Father Ryan starts at his own 34, but the Irish are down by 28 points. You got 2 minutes, 50 seconds to go in the game.
Stephon Ponder on the return.
It was the 4th time maybe in this game that Ponder's had a return. So the Upmen have been getting the looks.
On the tackle. It'll be a first down. Irish.
Running back on this play for Father Ryan is going to be Antonio Wright. Quarterback DC Taps going 4 receivers, 2 bunching in this near side. One on the slot on the far, one way out on that far side. Tapscott throws over the middle, complete. Beacom past 50, first down for the Irish, out of bounds near the Ensworth 40-yard line. So Father Ryan finally spreading it out a bit passing-wise, and they can't go to the run anymore at this point, just the way the clock is. You're down by 28 points, so if you're going to score something, you got to do it rather quick for it to matter at all. So Tapscott gets his team to the line as quickly as possible with the clock stopped. 2:41 to go, 4th quarter, 21 seconds on the play clock. Father Ryan, 4 receivers, 3 of that far side. Tapscott throws far side, complete, caught by Beacom. About a 5-yard gain. They managed to keep him in bounds or stop his forward progress, did Ensworth, and so the clock runs. Ensworth 35, Father Ryan 7.
Tapscott's pass was complete to Matthew.
So it's 4 receivers again for Father Ryan. The second down throw near side complete. Josh Pfeiffer got the first down for Father Ryan.
That was a nice throw by Tapscott, standing in the pocket and finding a wide open Josh Pfeiffer for the first down. And we saw last week, even despite Tapscott being out, we saw the connection between backup quarterback Matthew Derrick and Josh Pfeiffer, just them being on the same page works.
It was Horton on the stop on this 1st and 10, throwing for that corner. Father Ryan going deep. Intended for Christian Smith, incomplete. It bounced off of one of their helmets. Good defense there by the Tigers. And that stops the clock. A minute 53 to go, 4th quarter. And Ensworth leading 35-7. So for Father Ryan, after tonight, they'll have 2 weeks to get ready for a very difficult Blue Tornado opponent. They're going to face down in Chattanooga and former Macaulay. Then for Father Ryan, a home game, the senior night against Lipscomb in a non-region game, and they close the regular season with the Irish early November, and the game being played at Knox Catholic. 4 receivers, Father Ryan on this 2nd and 10. Tapscott throws near side, incomplete, intended for Pfeiffer. The clock stops. They're supposed to stop. It's still ticking.
Brings up a 3rd and 10.
Just up to 147. Now it's up at a 141. So, although at this point, Father Ryan down by 28 points and less than 2 minutes to go in the game, I don't know how much of a difference that's going to make in the outcome. Well, they will try and get it right, I'm sure, so they'll fix it if they can. As Father Ryan will make a substitution. Antonio Wright to the sideline, his twin brother Anthony Wright in. And now Father Ryan's going to bring over its offensive unit to talk things over. As appears the Irish took a timeout.
Join us next Friday night when the Ensworth Tigers will take on the Bishop Sycamore Centurions at 7 p.m.
So again,
Daily
no
Stadium.
broadcast next Friday since Father Ryan's got a bye. And then it's the final 3 games at Macaulay, at home against Lipscomb, and then at Knox Catholic. And again, unlike past years, we say, well, at least the playoffs are coming up. For Father Ryan, it does not look like that's going to be the case for the 2019 season. I think there are going to be people that will look at the box score later and be a bit confused about, especially the first half. I mean, Ensworth did not have possession of the ball as an offensive play until it was like 8 minutes to go in the half. But when you have a pooch punt you took back for a touchdown, you have a blocked field goal you took back for a touchdown, it certainly gives you some misleading stats that don't necessarily reflect what the overall score ended up being. So with trips receivers bunched to this near side, including Beacom, Erdman goes in motion to the far side. DC Tab's got the quarterback, looks towards Erdman, throws back, receivers, or running back screen incomplete, intended for Anthony Wright.
Yes, Anthony Wright is incomplete.
In and out of the hands of Wright, and that's going to bring up 4th down, 4th and 10 for Father Ryan. A minute 35 to go, 4th quarter. Ensworth 35, Father Ryan 7. And as much as Father Ryan needed this one, so did Ensworth.
Down and 10 for the Irish.
Ensworth has a victory over Knox Catholic, of course, but particularly not only when it comes to just making the playoffs, but seeding. That was that number 4 seed out of the East. You get to go to, in all likelihood, get to play out Memphis or in the West Tennessee area. So on 4th and 10, 3 receivers, 2 to the far side. Tab Scott. There's some pressure brought by Ensworth. Throws, interception. Picked off at the 20, and this one could go to the house. Past midfield. William Wright to the 20. Tab Scott's going to try and stop him. He hits him, but into the end zone. Touchdown, Ensworth on a pick 6.
William Wright, he returns it all the way for a touchdown, Tigers!
So that makes it 41-7. Ensworth leads Father Ryan. If the extra point's good here, they're going to go to a running clock. And the rule with that is if it's 35 points of a difference or more in the second half, the running clock comes into play.
Archdeacon snapping, Bullock holding, Cooley kicking.
And so it'll be Evan Cooley to try the extra point. And he gets it. That makes it now Ensworth 42, Father Ryan 7, a minute 13 to go, 4th quarter.
Tigers 42, Irish 7.
So disappointment for Irish fans. And I tell you, for as much as the offense had those long sustained drives and the defense by and large played rather stout, just when you have multiple punts returned for touchdowns, a pick 6, a blocked field, just the non-offensive touchdowns. It's tough enough to beat Ensworth when you've got everything going heads up as far as those kind of breaks go. But in fairness, though, Ensworth makes a lot of those breaks. That's why Father Ryan was running so much, because you try and throw against that secondary, and it's probably like on par with what we've seen previous games this season, like BGA, for example, that really good secondary. Although I would suggest that Ensworth has a much better front 7 than BGA. Not to insult them, it's just the reality. Ensworth, they're not the deepest team as far as like numbers of, I can fit them all on one page, only like a rollover page, which is actually kind of rare anymore. But players they've got out there certainly have been able to perform tonight. And now leading 42-7, unless Father Ryan takes one back to the house, they're going to have the tackle, whatever, after the kickoff, and the clock's going to run, and there won't be much left for us to do to finish this up.
Kicking off for the Tigers, Evan Cooley.
And so Cooley's going to kick off. Hitting the extra point, high spinning kick from the 22 to the 25. Nice shoulder delivered there on that return to the 32, maybe the 33-yard line. Ponder getting all sorts of kick return opportunities tonight. The clock runs, though, as it is a 35-point lead for Ensworth, less than a minute to go.
Ari Ruckman.
watching the clock tick down. They haven't started the actual play clock yet, and they'll do that now on the whistle. So 17, 18-second difference. But for Father Ryan, the next snap could have been the final play for him in this game. Irish are going to go 3 receivers to the far side. 7 seconds on the play clock. The game clock 23 seconds. Tabscott throws complete. Parker Erdman. Erdman gets the first down and gets out of bounds around the Irish 47 to 48 yard line. It was McAllister in there, kind of favoring his hip a little bit. That's the last thing Ensworth wants in a game that's may have one more snap, and that's it. You don't want to get a guy hurt. Father Ryan learned about that, what happened with Chapman, the last play of the first game of the season. We get the horn. This play will count. Incomplete. Pass intended for Parker Erdman, and that's the final play of the game. So for Father Ryan, a tough loss. No two ways about it against a very good Ensworth team. This all but sinks Father Ryan's hopes for making the playoffs this season. And for Ensworth, it certainly boosts their chance. There's between Ensworth, Knox Catholic, and Brentwood Academy. One of those 3 teams is not making the playoffs. It's just the numbers. It will be one of them that miss out. But unfortunately for the Irish, still in all likelihood be the other school missing out in the playoffs in the East this season. So tough night for the Irish, although a lot of positives you can build on. But now 2 weeks to get ready for Macaulay at Macaulay.
Yeah, it's gonna be insane rest of the schedule for Rye, but you gotta give credit to the offense. I mean, they were driving down the field, but you can't have those unfortunate ends. And you also got to give props to the Irish defense as well. They continue just to get better each and every week.
So for Father Ryan, with the loss, Irish dropped to 1-6 on the season. That's their 6th consecutive loss. Now they got 2 weeks to try and figure out how to beat a powerhouse down in Chattanooga, Macaulay. And after that's Lipscomb at home senior night, and then the regular season finale in Knoxville against Knox Catholic. So anything else, Tyler?
Well, man, we got a lot to live for. I mean, we saw like an entertaining game early on, and you gotta give credit to both sides, especially Ensworth special teams. Like, you don't really expect a lot of games where it has to come down to special team plays, but Father Ryan put up one heck of a try, and we'll see how it plays out for the rest of the season.
So again, a reminder, no Father Ryan game next Friday. They got a bye. So enjoy your weekend however you will. And then 2 weeks from tonight, I have the broadcast for you from down in Chattanooga. Macaulay plays host to Father Ryan. And will be the next game for this Father Ryan Irish football team. Your final score from here at campus of Ensworth School. It's Ensworth 42, Father Ryan High School 7. We'll see you 2 weeks from tonight from Chattanooga as the Irish try and knock off Macaulay. That's it from here. Thanks for watching this presentation of Father Ryan football on ATW Sportscast. Good night, everybody.